right, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to the Bloc Shop Open final round. We are live. They're just starting the athlete presentation. They bring all the athletes out, introduce them to the crowd, and then they get a preview of the finals problems. So let's go and have a quick look at as they bring the climbers out, and we'll just talk a little bit about them as they come out here. So far we got Aggie Saint Jacques is out, local climber. Audrey La Rochelle, local as well to Montreal. Alyssa Weber from Calgary. We just brought out Melissa Leneve from France. They got a long way to come from ISO.
Alana Yip just came out.
And rounding it out with Alex Puccio. So that is 6th to 1st. That's the order they're going to climb in on every boulder. Aggie, Audrey, Alyssa, Melissa, Alana Yip, and then Alex Puccio. So those are your ladies finalists. Climbed the best yesterday, of course. That's why they're here today. Everybody's tired, of course, but the adrenaline, the excitement, the nervousness, all of that plays in to the final round. And once you pull on those first start holds, you're not tired anymore.
No, I think with the adrenaline rush that kicks in with the crowd behind you, and just the fact that this is shaping out to be a really important comp, even though it's outside of any kind of competitive league or ranking, it's for style points, it's for bragging rights, so it's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely. So the first man out, so we got Falco Filotto from Montreal, a local. Then we got Seb Lazure from Montreal, a local. They're excited about that. Ty Landman from Great Britain.
Yane Kruder, already a crowd favorite.
Absolutely a crowd favorite. You're right about that. And then Alex Megos.
Also quite popular.
Yes, exactly. Always smiling.
Least.
Yeah, strong young kid. And then your top finalist, Michael Mauem, also from France, who really did look the best yesterday.
Yeah, he had an awesome semi-round and managed to climb one of the heinous slab climbs. Was only the second competitor to be able to do that, and got the crowd here roaring. So he's a crowd pleaser as well with his dynamic style.
Almost climbed it as well as Florent did.
Yeah.
Almost.
Florent Balsez out of Up the Block, he did a great job.
So what's going to happen now is, in the World Cup style, or the old World Cup style, we're going to climb 4+. So what that means is that the climbers get 4 minutes plus any time after that, as long as they're on the start of the boulder when the clock expires. So you get essentially 1 extra try. And then you have a 20-minute rest before the next boulder. So what happens is all the climbers climb problem one after another in their 4+, and as soon as both athletes are done, they bring the next 2 out. So if both athletes, the male and female athletes, flash their boulder, then the next climbers come out right away. They don't wait for the clock to tick down to 4 minutes. So you have sometimes a bit longer, sometimes a bit less, depending on what's going on with the athletes in front of you. At this point, they all get to preview each of the boulders. So that changes the way the route setters can set. The climbers know that, the route setters know that. You can put more difficult, complicated boulders because they preview and they talk about it.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now. They get to touch the starting holds, they get to sort of get a feel for that first couple of moves, and they're exchanging right now. And the fact that this is being such a friendly comp, people are even more generous and exchanging. I think also On the World Cup stage, you would see this in finals. You would see a lot of competitors talk to each other and exchange. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of result this gives on the initial moves and how people attack the boulders.
Exactly, and there's still, to some degree, might be a little bit of gamesmanship in World Cups, so the athletes on the same teams will talk to each other definitely more collaboratively than athletes from other countries. I don't think anybody's throwing anybody else under the bus by being like, oh, I'm definitely going to do a 360 dyno on this move, but some talk, some don't, and that's sort of up to each climber as well, and some climbers are just quiet to begin with. They're in their own space. I was asking Jurne just before in finals, I said, what do you get excited, do you get calm, do you get nervous? And he said, very interesting, he said, I listen to what my body is telling me. If I'm nervous, I let myself be nervous. If I'm excited, I let myself be excited, and I just use whatever that energy is and going forward, because it's not worth trying to counteract what I'm naturally feeling anyway. And this is a veteran competitor. He's been competing on the World Cup forever.
That's really interesting, because it's all about, using the energy that you've got and having the best usage for your energy. And I think it's a massive expenditure of energy that a climber has to give out in a comp such as this. So I think that's some true veteran skills.
Dude, they're definitely exploring their options as they talk about it. We know the boulders are sometimes complicated. You can see here, Seb and Jurne have both looked at the start of number 2 as a backwards press potentially. So maybe that's easier physically to get into and then turn it around. And what you'll get is, yes, they talk about it, then they come out, and when faced with the boulder and yourself, you still have to decide if your A option or your B option, or sometimes your C or D or E option is what you want to do to tackle that boulder.
Absolutely, and these climbers are so well-rounded that they may well want to use the same method, but at the end of the day, they'll try to favor their skills and also, their strengths to move forward. And, talking to Manu about problem number 2, he definitely intended it to be a forward, actually just a straight up facing the wall press. And, that could be the right thing to do. There's also 3 tapes on the left volume, so you have to get a hand and 2 feet up there. So that might, also dictate facing the wall.
Exactly.
To approach the beginning of that boulder.
Interestingly, and if you don't watch a lot of World Cups, you wouldn't know this either, but the athletes, after they've done their problem, they go to a secondary isolation. So all the athletes are in isolation A, and then they come out from there and climb. Then they go into isolation B. So they can't talk to the climbers that are yet to climb, but they can talk to each other after having just done the boulder. So you get a very interesting, they know where they sit in the standings generally. They don't always share, but they'll be like, hey, did you do it? I did it, I flashed it. You can tell from the crowd, you can count in your head, even from the first ISO, if somebody goes out, the crowd gets excited, gets louder and louder and louder, and then the roof comes off, they've probably flashed it. If that happens 2 minutes later, they've probably taken at least a few tries. So you always have an idea of what goes on, but they definitely talk about it in secondary ISO.
Yeah.
And then they start to know. And then people have said, oh, what about ISO, and who doesn't like an ISO comp, and what does it mean when everybody knows where they place, and if you know you can't win, do you still try hard? And the difference is, if you know that you need to flash to win, then you try hard. So I really like that part of it because it adds an interesting little spin to the mental game of, oh my God, the best I can do is 3rd. You need to get over that and
Absolutely.
Be like 3rd is better than 6th.
Yeah, that's the mental game, and also the insight you've provided so interesting about what happens in ISO. So I think never having seen any other competitor also on a particular boulder, that's a specific sort of mental just play right there where you really have to think for yourself. Think, what have you read onto the boulder? Right now they're exchanging ideas, sharing tips, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to come out and solve these problems, these very hard problems in very small amount of time,
Exactly right. And even in flash format comps where people are watching each other try, at the end of all of that, at the end of all the conversation, at the end of all the preview, at the end of all of the kicking of the tires, if you will, you still need to pull on the start holds and grab the finish hold. So nobody else can help you climb the boulder. So people are like, oh, and you can put 100, you can debate it forever. But in general, the best athlete, all round, mental, physical, all of those pieces of the puzzle, that is who is going to win a comp.
Absolutely.
Talk doesn't get you to the top of a boulder.
Nope.
It gets us to the top of a boulder. I sent all of these from the ground while you and Manu were talking about it. Oh, of course I could do that. I could do this. I could do that. Hey, look, I've sent it.
Yeah.
But I don't have to go do it. So the beauty of sitting, and I've had people say, oh, you can't say that from the commentator's chair. It was like, the beauty of sitting in the commentator's chair is that I do not have to go and do that. I can tell you what should be done or could be done, but I don't have to. I've already done it from my chair.
We got the easy job here.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy. I don't have to go and fall off a bunch of boulders for the next hour and a half.
And now the men are looking at the final boulder, and the ladies as well. For the ladies, boulder number 4. As we mentioned, we actually did a Facebook Live session with Manu Hassler, the head route setter here, coming out of Switzerland. And, you know, he gave us a glimpse of how he intended the lines to go. And obviously, athletes can find their other solutions, and that's the beauty of the sport. But for the ladies, you know, that boulder sports the biggest hold in the gym right now. It's the final hold. It's just probably a mile away from anything else on that line. And, you know, the ladies will have to commit with a big press, you know, high up on that boulder with a dual textured foot. Yeah, they can either do it really dynamically or do it a bit half dynamic, half static. That's what Manu said. So it'll be really interesting. I think Puccio will
take some airtime.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah, and it's awesome to get that insight from him about what the way they set the boulders and the intention of the boulders. And sometimes you're going to get a break in the sequence. Sometimes you get surprised by somebody who's so far in left field and they do something you couldn't conceive of. But for the most part, these are going to get sent the way they were set. He did say that they have enough separation going back through qualifier or semifinals that they're not so worried about separating for the finals, which means they can put on a show, which means they want every boulder to get topped. So if if all the boulders get topped, even if everybody only tops one, then that doesn't matter. It's not about all athletes topping, 6 people topping 2 boulders or 3 boulders. They just want to see all the boulders get sent, and they don't even care if one guy they just want to see boulders get topped because they want to see all of the moves shown to the crowd. So it's one thing for us to talk about it. It's one thing for you to sit in the crowd here and picture what would happen. But if you don't see people physically doing the last 2 moves, there is a sort of an anticlimactic sense to the show. It's all about topping boulders. That's
the name of the game. It's what we had yesterday, and that's a difficult task route setters have, is to spread the field, make it fun for the audience, make it fun for people at home watching the live stream. So it's a big challenge, and if we're looking at any comp, be it route, boulder, anything, a lot of it depends on the skill and just the sensitivity that these setters have in assessing which athletes they'll have to spread out and differentiate, and knowing what kind of tricks and different sequences will be able to do that.
And the familiarity with the athletes is a big thing. So you'd be mistaken if you thought that the setters don't watch the semifinal round with a lot of care. They're in the gym, they're watching the way they climb, they're watching what they thought the climbers would be capable of, and then they remember that the semifinal round, you're tired from qualifiers. They've had a full day of rest. So sure, you're sore, but you've recovered. So you need to come out guns a-blazing. Yeah, you got to grow some skin, but you got to come out full power today. If you don't have full power, then you are definitely going to feel a little bit like you're behind the game. There's a couple of people popped up online. Falco's going to win. Michael, it's not the first time I've been compared to Conor McGregor. It happens. I think he's a little bit tougher than me. He probably throws a better left hook than I do. And Andrew Garfield. So our celebrity doppelgangers. Thanks for the heads up. Oh, Mrs. Puccio, good to see you back on the live stream. And Jan, is that actual Jan Hoyer, or is that someone who's just logged in to YouTube as Jan Hoyer?
That can't be the real Jan Hoyer. That'd be an interesting chat tonight with Alex's mom and Jan on the live chat.
Yeah. So Jan, if that's you, Common McGregor, I'll interview Falco after he wins for sure.
And I don't know how that works because he's supposed to be in China. He participated in the Lead World Cup, came in 15th. Actually, and that's interesting to note before the competitors come out, is there was a Lead World Cup in Wujiang, and a lot of boulderers did really well. So Tomoa Narasaki came in second, and he's been known to terrorize boulders and root setters on the World Cup scene for the last 2 years.
And you know what that is we're seeing climbers now, as they prepare for trying to be part of the Olympic Games, is that they have to be all-around athletes. Traditionally, on the World Cup, you have boulderers and you have route climbers. There is an all-around title, there's the World Championships, but Sean McCall is recognized on the world stage as being one of the best all-around climbers able to train routes and bouldering in the same season. He's been 3-time overall champion, which is unbelievable. And now they're starting to realize that if they really want to go to the Olympics, the boulders have to be able to do routes, and the route climbers have to be able to do boulders. So we're starting to see that come together, and we're ready to roll. So enough chit chat. Let's rock climb.
Yeah, we've got for the ladies, we got Aggie Saint-Jacques matching the bonus hold on her first go.
And Falco too, up quick. We did sort of think as we were looking that the first two boulders were maybe a little bit of an intro. They don't go easiest to hardest for sure. They go style to style. But it does look like Falco is going to flash the first boulder.
The hometown climber, Falco Filato, just making it look simple, easy, and meanwhile, Aggie just didn't get to finish and hold the boulder, the top hold on the boulder. So Falco has been in Montreal for a couple of years now, but he's originally from Zimbabwe, and he's just become a Canadian citizen last week. So,
he's just become a really good. You look at his results. He does not have a lot of competitive results that put him in what you would think would be the final of an event like this. But his climbing is telling you different. So he's obviously been training and working hard, and as you've seen, and he's very strong. And results, past results, definitely not necessarily indicative of current success.
No, and I think he's got that pedigree where, he's established, he's climbed actually some really good lines outside in Rocklands near his native country. He's climbed Sky, the Vice, El Corazon, which are outdoor boulders that are clock in at V13.
And as we said yesterday, and we'll say it again today, strong climbers are strong climbers, and that you can make the transition from rock to competition climbing if you want to. You just have to work a little bit differently. It's a different approach, obviously. Climbing plastic is different than climbing rock, but if you can climb those grades, you belong in this kind of crowd. Justin Curtis, my man DC, has been route setting all over this country. Good to see you on the live stream, buddy. Feel free to chirp in with a route setter's perspective every now and then as we roll through these boulders. That's a man whose advice you should take if you're talking about route setting. Just watching Aggie here, see if she's going to do anything different. It's a long way away. So you need a little bit, as similar to problem 3 in the semifinal yesterday, you need to be able to generate some momentum off what's not a very good left-facing Gaston. You need to push that into a step or even 2 on that volume. And then the hold you're grabbing, I think you were saying with Manu that you're not going to be able to catch it necessarily, but you're going to have to do a coordination move to get to the final hold as well. You might not catch the second last hold and swing around. You might grab it on the way.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, Pete. You need to generate a lot of momentum. You've got a lot of volume to, transfer your weight upon and prance up. So, you have to generate. And, Manu was telling us about having, a bit of a leaning, a foot, sweep to make sure to generate that movement to get your hips out right. So just wanted to correct something. I've been corrected on the live chat. Falco is originally from Botswana, so not Zimbabwe. That's my bad. Didn't do my research properly on that one, but we're happy to have him in Montreal and climbing so well. So there we go.
So Aggie has let the clock go down to 9 seconds and is on her last try as the clock expires. Dustin, yeah, he loves those boulders. Yeah, I agree, Dustin. They have been fantastic. The crew here did an amazing job. The Bloc Shop crew, for the most part, with the insight of Manu Hassler from the international perspective. Botswana. And now we're getting pronunciation tips. I'm just going to shut down the live stream chat here on YouTube. People are just going to correct everything we say here. No, that's fair. Anyway, you're right. Fine. He is a Canadian now.
We'll do this together, team.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so we have our next two climbers. There's always a short gap. They don't roll through immediately. It's not like 4 minutes and then you have to jump out. They bring them out and then the clock starts and they turn around. So there's none of that run to the chair. The clock won't start until they're ready. And then as soon as they turn around, that clock will kick in.
So we've got the other two local Bloc Shop team competitors, Sébastien Lazure and Audrey La Rochelle. And for some of you that have watched some World Cup semifinals in the last year or so, you will have seen Seb. He placed 13th actually in Vail in 2017. So that was his best finish on the World Cup bouldering scene. And yeah, Seb yesterday, he seemed to have a bit of a hard time. He told us he was jet lagged. He got in the day before yesterday, in from Australia, so hadn't slept all night. Was really jet lagged, but you know, this guy, he's a competitor.
He is.
And despite that, he managed to make his way into finals. So I'm hoping he's rested and he's gonna, you know, show us all what he's made of.
I think he slept for about 12 hours from when he got home after the semifinals. I saw him just outside and he looked pretty smiley. I chatted with him in ISO briefly, and as everybody says, they just have to put all of that to the side and come out and rock climb it. So we had Audrey just missed the running jump on the first try. She loves to throw herself at boulders, so she's going to put everything into this. Seb just missed. I don't think he got his foot out enough to hold the swing. So he's feeling where Falco managed to keep his right hand on the start hold to control the swing. Seb is letting it go and hoping he can control it with his foot. So I don't know if it's a reach thing. I don't know. I mean, that crimp is quite bad.
Yeah.
It's a sloping, kind of rolling half crimp. So it's not like you can just roll your fingers in and press away. You're going to have to decide to really use it.
It's a rounded edge on that crimp. And so the minute you generate momentum, you can easily slip off.
Yeah, Dustin, I'll give a shout out to Fred. Fred Charon, Bloc Shop owner and a very good route setter in his own right.
All right,
there's Audrey up on this one.
Initially trying to press into it, but that would make for a very reachy move afterwards.
And Seb decides to double up, so he makes it a coordination move to control the swing. Audrey is definitely now looking to get some momentum, but volumes are slidey. And that is really far. You can see her reaching, and she's already, her momentum is taking her away from the wall. Not the tallest climber, but it's not a factor. They set the boulders to be climbed. There's lots of not tall climbers out there, and the idea is that it shouldn't hinder you to the point where you can't do a move. You just have to maybe try just a tiny bit harder.
Yeah, and you know, apply some pressure on that volume with the feet, and as we mentioned earlier, the idea is to kick out and really move as far up and right as you can.
Didi, no, they're allowed to put their fingers in the holes on the holds, but they can't try and use the bolt holes on the wall. The way holds are being made now, it's pretty rare that a bolt hole will give you any advantage. They'll stuff them, they can cork them, and a lot of them are flush to the holds, so they can, but it doesn't give you a very big advantage.
So about 30 seconds left, and there still may be quite a bit of climbing left. because they can hop onto the boulders one last time with 1 second to spare.
So Audrey will, with the dynamic nature, and although she's off screen, so I don't know if she's decided she doesn't want to try it again. But Seb he's all in now. The clock's at less than 10 seconds.
Probably his last effort, actually.
So he's gonna try and go into a knee bar. This is good stuff from Seb. He tried it dynamically, it didn't work. And if he can get his fingers on this thing, I think he'll be able to top it.
That is impressive.
This is why we love the 4+. Seb, with no time on the clock, is going to do this boulder.
And that is just an amazing display of perseverance and patience.
And the crowd
pressing
loves
out.
it. That was slow and strong.
Wow. Well, the show started, folks.
Yeah, I would agree. The show has started. We had a flash, and then we had a last-second send. I mean, we bookended boulder number 1 already, and we've only had 2 climbers come out.
So the locals have done well on problem number 1.
Absolutely. As we said, tops are tops. We like to see things get sent. Somebody's asked if we can go down the finalists. Absolutely, we can. On the men's side, we have Falco Filotto. Then we have Sébastien Lazure. Then we have Ty Landman, Alex Megos, Jurne Kruder, and Mikael. There we go. And Mikael Mauem. And on the ladies' side, we'll pull up the ladies real quick. And you can go to these results on the blockshop.crimp page, and you can have the results full time. But
yeah, so the URL is blockshopopen.crimp.rocks.
So you can pull that up and look at that the whole time. On the ladies' side, Audrey La Rochelle, Eggy Saint-Jacques, Alyssa Weber, Alex Puccio, Melissa Leneve, and Alana Yip. So we got Alyssa Weber now and Ty Landman. And Phil, you were noting earlier that we had some of the same pairings, so climbing at the same time, athletes from the semifinal and then again from the final tonight.
Yeah, in the semifinals we had the Alexes, which will come out obviously a bit later. Alex Megos and Alex Puccio. So I don't know if that was, organized in any way or form, but that's definitely a crowd-pleasing pair. And we've got also the French team, Mikael Mauem and Melissa Leneve, that will be coming out together. So
Ty Landman wasting no time. Look at that, it just, ooh, and a foot slip there. He looked pretty established on the bonus crimp. We asked them some questions earlier to get some information, and one of the questions is, why do you compete? And he did say the other day that he felt like an old competitor, and he said, why do you compete? He said, I've been asking myself that same question. But he is obviously an excellent competitor, good climber. He's taken a little bit, I don't think he's been competing internationally as successfully recently, but he's been climbing for 22 years. So
British national champion in 2005 and 2007. So
and that's a big crowd to climb out of.
Yeah, exactly. And also, a couple of years back was known for, a lot of outdoor success as well, both in Europe. On Gritstone has established the Smiling Buttress, which was a long-standing project that the likes of, Ben Moon and others in the UK had tried. It's everything you can expect from a Gritstone test piece. It's bold, it's high ball, so inherently dangerous.
And it's slippery.
Yes. The conditions in the UK, I've heard, are quite fickle. So
yeah, that's a good word for it. There's a lot of faith and a lot of trust and a lot of people grabbing things that don't look like holds, much like we're seeing here. Alyssa Weber didn't quite get the left-right across that volume and more of a slip than generating any momentum. This is not the kind of thing that you regularly train. We've lost running jump starts. That came out of the rules. You weren't allowed to run into the start of a problem. So route setters have created running jump after you've been established on the start holds. But generally you want to be able to grab something to be able to do that. So this is testing the definite press and foot friction. Ty Landman setting up to finish this boulder. Just needs to get his foot over. And it's showing you that the last move is not easy. Falco made it look quite clean, but both Seb and Ty did that slowly and carefully. So the left hand, not great. Maybe the right foot also not great, so you don't want to rush it. You don't want to do something silly.
Yeah, and Falco had his foot a bit lower. He's a tall climber, so I think that just, you know, for his frame was a bit easier to cross over. Whereas both Seb and Ty, they had to get their right foot up a bit higher up, and that puts a bit more pressure on that left shoulder.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Alyssa Weber with 40-odd seconds. She's definitely going to get one more try, and she might give herself two. It's tough to tell. I don't know that this is taking a lot out of the climbers. So there's definitely a moment where you think maybe I should give myself two more tries. So with 20 seconds to go, let's see. Yeah, if she slips right away, she'll run back on, and hopefully she goes and sticks the top of this boulder. 10 seconds. This is going to be it for Alyssa Weber. She needs to dig deep right now. You can see her really scuffing in, trying to get some friction on this volume. This angle's great to show you what they're faced with. She's gonna try the close,
coming close in a more static fashion, but you know, I think we've yet to see a top of this boulder, but Aggie Saint-Jacques earlier has made the best progress, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. He's been one of the most successful British male climbers. He's when he was competing regularly was in the semifinals and podiums.
Yeah, and
with regularity.
He's made the semifinals for 6 of the 7 World Cups this year. So I would agree. He's had a renewed focus on the World Cup bouldering comp scene, and so it's interesting. He's committed and participated in a lot of them and placed well.
Yep. And was just at the Austin, the very big comp last weekend in Austin. And he was saying, I think we said yesterday, but he was saying he was the oldest male competitor at 27. So if you need to retire at 27,
that is old.
It's old. It's a rough
really.
show. No, it's not at all. All right, so we're bringing up our next two momentarily.
Yeah. So we've got, I think the pairings have changed a bit. So what I said earlier is out the window. So we've got Yerne and Melissa together.
Big smiles from Yerne. Big smiles from Melissa as well. Yeah, women's one is currently shutting some people down. V10, no. It's really hard to send V10 on plastic after all the work they've been doing there. Maybe that's tough to tell. They don't like to grade them. Maybe V9, maybe V10 for the men. Oh, Melissa getting the closest yet.
Yeah,
just sort of pinching and slipping off of that second last hold.
And Yerne is going to start his first go on this boulder. Oh, wow. Oh. Just generated a bit too much momentum, perhaps, and I think he knows that by now. So
yeah, I think his face as he was coming off told you that he knew right away that either he's going to change his decision or he's just going to squeeze a little bit harder.
And so that's a nice close-up on the holds. You just saw, you know, how bad that first starting crimp is.
Melissa right back into this thing, and you can see right away, oh, the left foot slip. You can see right away she's generating momentum from a big leg swing, often called a pixie kick. So you generate, if you can't use both feet, ninja kick,
whatever, trademark.
Pixie kick.
All right.
It's nothing else. It's absolutely the pixie kick.
Okay. This is the first time I hear that nomenclature, so that term.
It might be, oh, Yerne again, just not quite putting enough effort into a campus move to that second last hold.
Yeah, it seemed like his hips were a bit out to the right and didn't properly latch what is generally not that good of a hold, but is a decent hold for these climbers, I believe, on the second to last volume.
Oh, there we go. Yes, Melissa Lenev with the first top of women's one, and the crowd showing her that they appreciate it. What you saw there was she actually left her left foot behind, where the first climbers had to put both feet on the slab. So when you'll see, maybe we'll see that come out of Alex as well and Alana, is that when your feet are in front of you, it's really hard to make a step, but she used that lower start hold in order to generate that left side momentum to start her run across the slab. Really smart climbing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Manu, the head route setter, had told us he had intended. So good on Melissa. She's the first woman to top boulder number 1.
And Yerne is he's definitely fighting this one a little bit. You know, showing you that just because of the first climber, like 6th to 1st in the finals, although in this crowd you would say that the international competitors would maybe expect it to be stronger than the Canadians, but 6th to 1st is not a gap. On any given day in any World Cup, anybody in the finals will win in podium. So just because the first climber flashes the problem doesn't mean that everybody coming behind them is going to do it easier and easier and easier. The progression and the field split is not so broad on the international circuit as it is maybe at your local comp, where between 1 and 2 there's a huge gap. So here, just because the first climber flashed the boulder, that just means that's in their style. So you're getting the crowd pumped up for what might be his last try with just 15 seconds left. So really careful foot placement. And can't control the crimp.
And he's going to try to pull back on real quick.
And that counts.
Yeah.
With 1 second to go. So see if he does anything different. Yes, a bit of a showman. Always a bit of a showman. He wants the support. He wants a little bit of momentum in the room to help him stick this move.
Yeah, he gave it all.
He definitely gave it all.
But we've not seen the last of Yerne, so.
Those holds are really small, says Dante. Absolutely they are. They're tiny. Would be nice to have the timer on the screen. We can't actually put anything superimposed on the screen. In most of the shots, you'll see the camera up in the corner. So, you know, we'll tell you when the time is ticking down if we can, but have a look on the screen. You'll see the timer probably on definitely on problem 1, definitely on problem 2, and maybe on problem 3. So just have a look at that. But for now, we can't put the clock on the screen. No, it's not 4 minutes flat. We discussed earlier, maybe you weren't online, it's 4+. So that is someone said the audio is off. Just testing if someone can tell us if you can still hear us online, if the audio is where it should be or not.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for those of you that could hear us, all right, we're back on. So Alex Megos and Alana Yip on problems number 1.
Alana right up into it now.
Yeah.
She's going to put her left foot back down again. Oh, maybe going static. Alex Megos predictably on tiny crimps has no issue. He loves a tiny crimp, that man.
There we go. Yes.
So Alana's tried 4 different things but hasn't left the bonus yet.
There we go. We got this nice man, Alex Megos,
brushing holds again
for his fellow competitors after topping the boulder. He did it yesterday.
So Alana, after trying 3 or 4 different foot sequences, decided on trying to go statically, and then lost her right foot just as she was turning over to get into the press out of that bonus hold.
Yeah, I think this is a hard boulder to sort of flash, because you have to get a sort of, it's a sensation kind of boulder. You got to feel it out, and I think that's what a lot of the ladies have tried to do is, try to know how much pressure, how much of a swing they have to generate beforehand to establish themselves on the volume to go far enough to the right.
Absolutely. And Hayo has asked, how come the 4+? It's not a sanctioned comp. It's not a World Cup comp. They can do whatever they want. If they wanted to, they could have done a 5+ final. Obviously, we're not going to do that. But because generally people tend to agree that the 4+ is more exciting, they wanted to stay with that. They went to 4 minutes on the World Cup for the Olympics, in which they could not have an open-ended time because they don't know how to schedule the event. So that's something we can discuss. We'll wait till after Alana tries this boulder, but I'll come back to that in just 1 second.
Yeah, so Alana trying to press out again.
I mean, that is there we go. And she does. I mean, she showed us yesterday that she can dyno. So I'm surprised that that's not her instinct, given the success of problem 3 yesterday, which was in a similar style.
Exactly, and in fact, it's very, very similar to what we saw in problem number 3, which involved actually starting from a worse sloping hold, but which was in practically the same position as what we have here, the bonus hold on problem number 1. And you had to really generate and have a big dyno outright. So, I think Alana, she's figured out now that she needs to generate. I felt that on her last go, she could perhaps press a bit more on that right foot to get her launched out a bit more to the right. So we'll see what this next burn will give.
And she still has a minute to go. There's a minute on the clock, so.
Yeah. She knows what to do.
Yeah, she's inching ever closer. She'll let the clock run down. Maybe she'll give herself a safety net, but she knows what she needs to do. So just to go back to the question about the Olympics is that, and then we went to 4 minutes to appease the Olympics. Is that good for the sport? Is it bad for the sport? Discuss. Didi, yeah, I'm a climber. I've been climbing for 25 years, so I've 10 seconds to go. Alana will definitely jump back on. Yeah, I've been around comps and climbing for a long, long time, so I try and take some of that knowledge and bring it on here to you guys. Alana with her last try. I just can't quite close her hand fast enough on that second last hold, but all smiles.
And that's going to pave the way for the next competitors that are going to come out. We're going to have Michael Mawem from France and Alex Puccio, who needs no introduction.
Zero, but we'll get one anyway, probably every time. She's psyched. Same thing, she said, as everybody else, that yes, she was tired. Yeah, the boulders yesterday were hard, but they're here to climb the finals, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just
come out and face the boulder you're in front of, move on. Pretty good shot of the crowd. Lucas Uchida just in the middle of your screen there and enjoying a well-deserved beer after his performance yesterday. Just missing the final.
Yeah, he climbed really well, and there's going to be more to come from him, not only on the Canadian scene, but also, I think, internationally. So props to Lucas. There we go. They're ready to face the boulders.
And they generally take, obviously, less time to preview, having seen the boulder only about 15 minutes ago. They'll have a quick look to remind themselves, but there's none of that 30 seconds to preview. And Mikel, yes, absolutely making that look quite easy.
Yeah. Like Megos, like Falco, flashing boulder number 1 in style, in perfect control, and, getting the crowd into it. But
Alex missed the first one, and then no mistake this time.
Yeah, and so you see she's got some tape on that left ankle. She tweaked it a bit on the first boulder in qualifiers yesterday morning. So She got it treated. That didn't stop her in semis though.
No, not at all. And I don't think it's a sprain she's had for a while, so you kind of get used to those things. Obviously, it's not sweet to have a sprained ankle, but she's walking around on it, she's climbing on it, she's jumping on it. So
yeah,
hopefully not a factor, but definitely an annoyance.
Right.
So a little bit surprisingly that she slipped off that. But I think we're going to be surprised regularly across this final round. There are no definites when it comes to boulder comps. So Alex is just, looking for a little help from the crowd. All right, so she's got that flipped grip she's tried a couple times. Looks like Falco gave him the beta for problem one. It does, doesn't it? This problem is Alex's anti-style. Yeah, I mean, that's entirely possible. It is an awkward move, and she didn't do the awkward dyno yesterday either, so I would argue that this is a lot of climbers' anti-style. The strange press, pixie kick, running jump off of a volume is really not something that people are exceptional at on a regular basis.
But at the same time, I think it's become and I hate to call it the pixie kick, Pete, but
you have to.
I know.
That's what it is.
I know.
Simon Villeneuve will take you out back and teach you a lesson if you don't call it a pixie kick.
All right. I don't want to mess with Simon, but it's a move that you see almost. It's a staple on the scene now with the parkour style bouldering that we've seen, and some competitors like that, others don't. I think the Japanese team, which by the way will not be on the podium today.
Definitely not.
We can guarantee that, as we said yesterday, none of them competed. So, but they're really strong at that style of climbing, where flexibility, agility, and just pure dyno skills are necessary.
Absolutely, yeah, and it does have to become something that you train because it is probably going to show up at one of your rounds in big comps.
So 14 seconds left.
Though.
Yeah. 14 seconds left for Puccio.
One more shot. I think it's time to dig deep here.
Yeah.
And not try something different. But every time she's thought about that flip grip press, clearly she's not psyched on the dynamic movement.
We've not yet seen the pixie move yet.
Take a little rest.
Yeah, taking her time. She's got all the time in the world if she wants.
Oh!
Finally sussing out the move, but just couldn't squeeze onto that hold just enough.
That was as close as you're going to get without topping that boulder, was being able to slow down to that degree. Just missed it.
So we're moving on to problem number 2.
Yeah, as I said, just like that, we are on to the next.
And so we've got a three-way tie, if you will, for the men with Falco, Piloto, Alex Megos, and Mikael Mawem all flashing boulder number 1. After that, Tyler Landman did the boulder in 3 tries. Sebastian in 5 in a dramatic example of what the 4+ rule can give you.
Yep.
And Yerne just didn't manage to send it. So that's an interesting start to the comp.
So the question is, when did it become from a pogo to a pixie? And the answer is going to be how old you are. So if you think it's called a pogo and you weren't climbing 20 years ago, it's definitely been a pixie for that long.
Yeah, but I think I've also heard it called the moon kick, right? Ben Moon. He's been around for some time.
There is some debate on whether it was the moon kick before it was the pixie kick.
All right.
In Canada. In Canada.
Okay. All right.
We're having a technical debate on the chat about the pogo is using the forward leg to gain upward momentum. Well, I mean, why not, I guess. We can discuss the infinite technicalities of small pieces of climbing movement. We'll quick look at the results after the first boulder. Melissa Leneve, the only one to top it. And then with flashes to bonus from Audrey, Aggie, Alana, Alex with 2 tries to bonus, and Alyssa with 3. And I'm excited for boulders number 2. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited for all of them, of course, but I really want to see the ladies on this slabby faith problem, and I really want to see the men come across as described by Manu, foot first. I feel that some of them will want to campus through this section of volumes because often brawn triumphs over brains.
Yeah, especially in front of a big crowd. And also the volumes do seem like you could campus them. They have, they're much more positive than other volumes that we've seen on the wall this weekend here at Bloc Shop. So for sure possible to do it that way.
And we shall see. The first 2 climbers are back out. Falco and Aggie. So Falco's going to be hyped up from his flash of the first boulder. And they'll have talked about it as we said earlier. So he knows that a flash of the first boulder has put him in the top of the field. And with only 4 boulders, a flash in the finals is gold.
Absolutely. And you know, Falco's got other things going for him. He's got a good wingspan. So this opening move, it'll be interesting to see what he'll be able to do.
Other than pop both his shoulders out at the same time. Oh,
right.
That's immediately difficult.
Meanwhile, Aggie Saint-Jacques establishing herself on the volume foothold, dropping back down, not liking perhaps what she was feeling.
And they're now sorting out, although they've stood in front of it, you're now sorting out the actual wingspan. You can measure it in space, but as soon as you grab the holds and step on the feet, you realize how far away everything actually is. And as you can see here, this is about to become a bit of a faith move, just like that, and that you have to let go of your left hand and let your momentum take you to where the right hand needs to be, generally as slowly as possible.
He was looking good there. Falco seeming to understand how to establish himself in that dihedral that is formed by those 2 volumes.
Yeah, the original jump and press, nowhere near as comfortable as the put the left foot up at the same time.
Yeah, he was getting a toe hook in from that right foot and smearing off with the left foot. The thing is, that smear is not good. It's you've got nothing but the friction that's on the volume, and it's decent friction, but you need to press.
You really need to be pushing on it, and if you can't quite, I mean that it looked okay, didn't slip, but you see him take his foot off a little bit, so he's running out of confidence in that left foot after that first slip. So now you're looking at maybe moving just a little bit earlier than you wanted to that crimp, and now you're weighting the crimp full body weight versus letting some of the weight sit in your foot. So that early slip plays in your mind that it might slip again. So what if you were like, maybe if I take a little bit of pressure off my foot, I'll put it into my hand, and then you see what happens, the crimp's not good enough. So there's a lot of back and forth when you've come up on a problem like this. Aggie more successful this time with the tip, for lack of a better expression, but now has to,
well, there she goes.
She's just going to hang out.
Yeah, found a no hands rest on that slab.
And you know what's great about this from a route setting point of view is that the clock is ticking. So if you, although you want less tries, if you stand on this boulder for 45 seconds thinking about what to do, you're greatly diminishing the number of attempts you're going to put in if you're not successful.
Yeah. And, you know, this slab is, it's going to be tricky because the way Aggie was positioned on that, you know, right hand starting foothold volume, she's still a ways out to get to the bonus hold. And moving up on the boulder. So let's see if she's going to be able to solve that.
Falco looking a little bit better. Good info from Adrian Das. Aggie is our youngest competitor. It just came back from Innsbruck Youth World Cup and is going to be competing at the Youth Pan Ams in Montreal next month. So as a young climber, definitely been involved in the competition scene. To be going to the Pan Ams is definitely a big deal. So yeah, absolutely, Adrian. Watch out, up and coming.
Yeah, Aggie has been also mournful on her. She's been the Quebec climbing champ for age group for the last 4 years. So I think she climbs out of Altitude Gym in Ottawa, and I think that's where Adrian's at, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So thanks, Adrian, for the info, and Aggie is definitely one to watch for.
And then, so Falco, after flashing the first boulder, fails to establish the bonus, and then Aggie also not getting to the bonus. So all of a sudden, the problems look harder.
Yes.
Just like that. And they definitely are different. Each boulder is going to test a different skill set. It is part of the intention. Some balance, some patience, some squeeze, some campus. All of the things are going to get put on display tonight. All right. Next climbers are on. The crowd is just staying into it, which is amazing. In a big crowd like this, you love to hear that noise in the room. It feeds the climbers. You're kidding yourself if you think that it doesn't make a difference to your desire and your ability to dig that little tiny bit deeper, to hear a couple of hundred people screaming for you. That is something that cannot be understated.
No, and it's all about also managing that and putting it to good use. I think I look to Seb. He's used to the spotlight in the finals here in Canada, at least. Especially on the comps here on the East Coast, has been a mainstay, in competing strong here. And meanwhile, Audrey, I think this is in her first experiences. She's definitely been competing a lot recently, but I think this is perhaps the biggest crowd she's climbed in front of, so it'll be interesting to see how she copes with that.
Absolutely. There was a huge crowd at the Jackalope Fest. I know it's a festival comp, I know it's a fun comp, but there's somewhere between 500 and 600 people watching the skate comp and the climbing comp, so maybe not as engaged, but a big crowd. And she did climb well at that too.
Yeah.
Very interesting boulders. She's trying something a little different here and looking to just go dynamically up to the bonus hold versus the slab slow moving approach. Yeah, Altitude Gym in Gatineau. Seb taking a few deep breaths. And the relentless clock just ticking down. You can see it up in the top left corner of your screen. 2 minutes and change. And this is going to fatigue these guys. Big muscle fatigue. Shoulders pressing really hard. Like, look, I mean, Seb is straining.
It's a complete iron cross.
Just to get established on the start, he is putting everything he has into it.
And you immediately then see the difference between Seb and Falco. Falco seemed like he had, a bit more reach, and whereas Seb is like, just he's in a full-on iron cross. And okay.
All right, so can he turn himself around? What next is the question. No, and right away, the frustration in his face, I might have just wasted an attempt on that.
Right, but at least now he knows what he has to do, I think.
Yeah, but sort of without a shadow of a doubt. The advantage to trying the one other thing with time to spare is that you can hopefully exclude it from your list of options.
Yeah, and don't have that fatigue you mentally and having you doubt your better beta.
Yeah, how smart am I?
It's a big part of competing.
It's a huge part of competing.
Puzzle solving at its best. You just have to iron cross your way through this puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. This is an iron cross puzzle. And Audrey is in a balance puzzle that she does not seem really psyched on. And we definitely, everybody's got things they like. She does love dynamic movement. This is not dynamic movement.
Exactly.
It's a little bit of that frustration combined with, oh my goodness, what do I need to do? Because there is sometimes that I really don't know what to do, and I have to keep trying because I can't stand in front of 250 people and not try. But you're stuck saying, I really don't know what to do. You know, I just kind of want to go have a bit of a sit down right now.
Exactly. And Seb is trying to get comfortable, if I could.
I don't know if that's the word I would use.
No, but
He is going to get turned around.
and his time is out, so is Audrey's. So this is going to be a memorable last effort on this boulder.
And he's essentially climbed himself into a corner and is just going to see if he can climb himself out of it. The music just got really loud behind us. Hopefully it doesn't affect the way that you can hear us.
It's a party in here, folks.
It is a party. So Audrey and Seb both unsuccessful on their end of clock attempts, but not for lack of trying. That is for sure. The brushers madly brushing in between attempts.
Yeah. That's an important job, brushing holds, making them feel good again.
Major Ulrich, good evening. You missed one entire boulder, so that's something, if that counts. You missed a flash, you missed the last second attempt, but we got lots of show left for you, so don't worry too much about it. Plus, you can go back and watch it later.
Yeah. So no worries.
Casey Wilson, just off your screen, and always smiling.
All right, so Alyssa Weber and Ty Landman coming out.
Alyssa's super focused. Couple deep breaths, and time has started for them. Ty's going to brush a little bit first. I like the confidence.
Yeah.
Brush the last hold.
And brushing gives confidence. I find that whenever I'm climbing on a lot easier problems than these.
But
you know,
relative, yeah. Still, it's always relative.
It's a confidence booster. It's a bit of a ritual. You know, you brush before you get on the problems, and yeah,
you feel like it's in your hands at that point.
Right. That it's just you've
done what you needed to do. You don't have any
no excuses left.
Yeah, you've run out of excuses.
And Tyler was trying a jump press, but just missed with his left hand, slipped out.
Just missed by, I think, putting his face into one of those volumes, in fact.
Yeah, and that just scares me. My shoulders are
they hurt just watching.
Yeah, they hurt just watching that.
Oh my goodness. So this will be there. I'm going to go right out and say that there is absolutely nothing worse than spending 4 minutes unable to do the first move of something.
Oh.
I think he just did that to psych the crowd out. He just took a real run at it and then stopped dead in his tracks. But 4 minutes of not being able to get off the ground is demoralizing, even for a seasoned competitor. You cannot avoid the feeling. People are excited for Alyssa. Agreed. He is part of the team. But Stacey Weldon. Hi, Stacey Weldon. My favorite Weldon sister. Don't tell your sister that. One of Canada's perennially strongest competitors as we watch Ty sort of get established. If you don't know Stacey Weldon, if you don't know Vicky Weldon, the Weldon family, Chris and Mike, they were a core part of Canadian competition climbing for a long, long time, and a lot of our current juniors have them to thank for paving the way into a really strong national team just because they were so involved for so long. So hi, Stacey, good to have you on with us. Just came back from a surf trip, so the complete opposite of climbing. Ty is always frustrated for sure. Alyssa got close, kind of getting down onto a smear onto that next volume with her hand.
Yeah.
Look at it, just inching her way over.
She's taking her time and bringing her weight and her momentum out to the right, because last time she was coming in a bit too fast, but now
she was coming in hot, and she had a toe hook, which she's had to let go, but you can just see how carefully she's moving.
She tried to set her feet, and that sort of got her out of balance, and she peeled off the wall. She was looking poised to reach that bonus hold and become the first woman to do so.
Agreed. She absolutely just decided to suddenly go a little bit more dynamically. Maybe she didn't have the press to get up there, but it looked like it was going to be successful with the slow and steady approach.
Slow and steady.
I did just see a video in which the tortoise beat the hare in real life, so sometimes slow and steady does win the race. Falco is the bee's knees. I feel like I'm talking to someone's grandma. The bee's knees, and an expression I don't think I've heard in a long time. Ty Lemon is going to walk away with obvious frustration and maybe some sore elbows.
And so far, none of the three men, Falco, Sebastian, or Tyler, have been able to even secure the second hold, which is a Crimpy Gaston, before the bonus hold on the volume. So
Alyssa Weber with no time on the clock. It's going to take a minute to have a deep show. She got on right away and then knew that she could stand here and compose herself for a few extra seconds. So the right foot that she's on, you need to know it's not good. Oh my goodness. Very, very close. Great effort from Alyssa. I'm sure we're going to see a couple of these ladies do this, but that right volume, it's awful. As soon as you start to weight it, it just starts to slip. And it feels good while you're not putting a lot of weight on. And this is a classic slab problem. When you don't have to put all of your weight on a hold, it feels pretty good. You're like, oh, I'm here. I could stand here forever, but I can't leave. So that's what we see here is I could stand here for a long time because without needing to put momentum into the movement, the hold is quite good.
Yeah.
As soon as you apply pressure, that's when you need to really have that friction down. Otherwise, you're greasing right off it.
And it's keeping your hips in a precise area whilst trying to generate momentum. And that upward movement, that seems to be the challenge on this slab.
You got to get your knees out of the way, which means your feet are turned. There's so many factors, so many subtleties that go into slab climbing. Melissa and Yan, big smiles. I think maybe right now the crowd favorites. My Saskatoon people, Jay Hollowatch, how's it going? I wish you were here, buddy. I'm not gonna lie. I love me some Jay Hollowatch climbing in a comp.
Yeah.
So he said he wasn't training over the summer. Didn't want to come out. Completely out of shape. I don't know that Jay Hollowatch is ever out of shape.
Is that possible?
He is one of the best competitive climbers that's come out of Canada in the last 10, 15 years as well.
For real.
Really knows how to put it down. Has some of the best movement out there. So it would have been fun to see you on these boulders, but we'll see you soon enough. Jan Hoyer looking much better than everyone else. You see he's got a toe hook.
You mean Yerne?
What did I say?
You said Jan Hoyer
because he was on
he's
the
bombing
name.
the chat.
The Jan Hoyer name is up there,
and
yeah.
I still don't think...
Oh, look at Melissa.
I don't think it's a real Jan Hoyer.
I don't think it is either.
Okay, so now Melissa, she's not out of the woods yet because on the other side of that volume, you've got a small screw on and it's a dual texture. And it's a particularly devious dual textured hold because you've got about 1 centimeter around the whole outside of that hold, which is completely smooth. So you really have to have precise footwork
and maybe bendy ankles.
Yes,
you're right. It's a horrible little hold. It is dual textured on the top, sliding down to a very small section. Oh my goodness! Look at this.
She's strong.
Look at this effort. That she's looking at that right foot, willing it to stay on. And the left hand is slowly running out of compression. Oh, using the wall.
Yeah, and you can see she's having a difficult time trusting that foothold,
oh,
but she does it.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing climbing from Melissa.
Wow is the right word, I think. Having a calf cramp.
Yeah, she was having the Elvis leg there, but kept it together.
Really, and then just watching her hold that tension using only the wall, and although it looks like the angle change is quite dramatic, it's not. and then just sliding onto the bottom of that hold. That was fantastic.
And wow, what can we say about that ascent? She's still waving to the crowd. Meanwhile, Bjørne has 1 minute and 30 seconds, just under that, to try to solve this problem.
Oh, he's going now both. Oh, I like this.
Oh, this
I like
is nice.
this a lot. That might be as intended, in fact.
It might be, yeah.
Although,
actually, Manu Hassler, the head root setter working here with Fred Charon, he was telling me it was a left hand to go up. So I think that's a really interesting solution Bjørne has just found.
and he might end up, if he can get established in that sort of turning drop knee, he might be able to drop his right hand off and switch it to the left, because I don't think you're going to get to the bonus like as a Rose move. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Yeah, you know, Rose moves need good holds.
Slightly better
to start
than
off
that.
of.
Yeah, slightly better than that.
But who knows with these guys? So
Yeah.
40 seconds left.
Oh, look at this. So we got some people. We got some heavy hitters from the Canadian scene. Gavin Johnson, Conrad and Christine McFarlane hanging out on the live stream as well. Jan Hoyer is going to get the crowd built up for his last try.
That's the
twice.
second time you've called
Oh
him
my
Jan.
goodness, I'm going to call him that for the rest of the night. Now it's in my head. All right, your name. So he's going to do the same. No.
11 seconds to go. Is he?
Crowd wants him to. Crowd wants him to for sure. No, he's not going to be able to.
Wow. So that boulder is just that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of your more powerful finals climbers.
Yeah, exactly. We've got, you know, the other crowd favorites, Mikael and Alex, yet to come.
Is that going to be in Alex's style? I don't know.
Probably the last part of it, the press, I think, is what's giving everybody such a hard time. It's so wide.
It is so wide, although, once again, I feel that if he gets his left hand on that crimp, you're going to see a change in pace.
Down.
So he's going to go, it's that slow and uncomfortable. As soon as somebody gets their hand wrapped around a hold they know they can do something about, their body language changes. And they immediately become confident again and just going to, I mean, he might just campus across that next move.
Yeah, and it'll be great to see what placed 5th at the World Cup in China, 9th in Mumbai. So
it's a sort of list of accomplishments is too long to read. He does say that his slopers on volumes are definitely not his strength. Volumes in general. I don't know that anybody really loves a volume. People will tell you they deal with them, but I don't think people come into the gym and go, oh, I'm so excited to just grab a bunch of things that I can't actually grab.
Yeah.
A lot of climbers like to get their paws wrapped around something more than just sort of push and pull and squeeze. But this isn't giving him as much trouble.
Oh, and he's maintained that sort of body tension to keep himself in that dihedral, but it was too much to overcome on this one.
Yeah, and he's absolutely doing the press move cleaner than everyone else.
Yeah, still got 2 minutes 47 seconds, so
you can sort of see the way he brushed that. He's excited because I think he's, as you say, each problem, each try on each problem, you learn a little bit. So he's gaining knowledge every time he falls off this boulder about what to do differently next time. So he's tried his left foot is slipping, and it looks like he's looking at the bonus like he just wants to get over to it before the barn door kicks in.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the issue with once he gets a left hand sort of Gaston shoulder move, that hold is not good enough for him to relieve the weight that's on his right hand, the pressure that he has to apply. So it becomes a bit strange, the body tension he has to generate, and, you know, the arms. I've seen a couple of competitors struggling to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean he's making a liar out of me where I said he would kind of easily campus across, given his crimp strength. But obviously the holds are bad and the angles are not great for a climber with his specific crimp strength to not be able to just move through them. Alana Yip trying to really get across. She's been unsuccessful so far with the start of this boulder. Not for lack of attempts, but just not quite able to get anything out of that right foot.
Yeah, and earlier we saw Alyssa lean out to the right and touch the volume to the right before attempting to put the foot on the lower volume. So maybe that's an easier method.
Courtney, how you doing? Yeah, I'll have some scotch for you. And Paul Reed, my favorite Paul Reed, the most white t-shirted, black-shorted climber in Canadian history. Paul Reed from Edmonton. Every time that guy competes, he wears a white t-shirt and black shorts, and I absolutely love it. Hey, Paul, good to see you on here. Oh, Alex.
Wow. So, yeah, it's confirmed that this boulder is quite difficult.
It's hard. We've erased all doubt on the difficulty of boulder number 2 for the men. Just in case you thought that there was any doubt that they just weren't doing it right. So 20 seconds to go. We'll probably get one more if he slips again, but you know he doesn't want to need to. Yeah, right away looking at the clock.
He's got another burn. He's lining it up.
One more burn, and one more burn for Alana, who's definitely, I mean, she hasn't really done a lot to get through. Oh, and just running out of power, I think. That's 6 or 7 or 8 good tries on that first move. So we got all zeros and Alana Yip.
Yeah, only Mikael left to put a dent into that problem.
Yeah.
And now she's opted for, putting the foot up again.
And she's been going straight to the bonus here, pseudodynamically, and I mean, just not quite working. I think that Alyssa's approach and Melissa's approach was probably the best.
It's not over yet for boulder number 2, though.
Yeah.
Even though they're very difficult, we've still got Alex Puccio and Mikael Mawem.
Exactly. There's no slouches in the final, so you're right up until the end. We're going to hold our breath and see if someone's going to send these boulders. He's definitely a route climber, but he's definitely a boulderer as well. I wouldn't take that away from him.
And my theory about bouldering with a chalk bag is you have to have the means to chalk up. So
yeah,
it's
you
a
have to be able
statement.
to let go with one hand, and he did it a couple times in the semifinal where he grabbed holds that no one else could grab and chalked up. So yeah, it is a statement. He's like, oh, I'm going to bring my chalk bag because I'll probably be able to chalk up on this boulder that you can't do. And right away, Mikael, I mean, to there, not a lot of issue, but he tried a hand-foot match, maybe out of desperation. Didn't look like it was going to be super successful. Alex Puccio working her way into this balancing move.
Yeah, palming down onto that starting volume with her left hand.
Just trying to find the sweet spot on the volume. Fingertips on it. Although you often think that because I brushed it with my fingertips, I should be able to get it almost right away. But you can just miss a move a dozen times in a row. So you don't always get incremental progression on a problem like this. You can miss in exactly the same way over and over and over and over, even if you're putting everything you have into subtle differences. So Mikael, once again, I mean, he's grimacing from effort just to get to the second hold. That's
a good angle to see that hold he's got with his left hand is not positive. It's a bit of just a flat crimp, and it's on not flat a 45-degree overhang, but
maybe about a 20, yeah.
Wow, so
just joining, no one has hit the bonus on women's number 2 other than Melissa Leneve, who sent the boulder.
Right.
So
she climbed it quickly, and I'm not sure if she she flashed it. So that was amazing.
That is amazing. She's with 2 tops and 2 boulders to go. That's sitting in a great spot. It's a good look at the bonus hold. It's not something that you're just going to latch onto. You need to hit it in control. Yeah.
A minute and 30 seconds to go.
Oh, Alex frustrated with a slip.
Mikael trying something else.
Just showing us his inside-out hip flexibility. Maybe a trip to the chiropractor. Doesn't know what to do. It's like, I've tried everything I can, is what that face tells me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? So, I mean, I gotta say, I'm gonna be disappointed, as I mentioned earlier, to not see what the top of this boulder looks like to be climbed. So, shirts off. We're not in a sanctioned comp, so there's no shirt rules. And I really want to see what this boulder looks like at the top.
Yeah, it'd be great. 40 seconds to go. And yeah,
as soon as that foot comes off, there's just nothing to do to hang on to that crimp. I think his original idea of getting his right foot on the starting crimp would obviously be super useful. You just have to be able to get your right hand out of the way somehow. And he's unable to shuffle up that volume to leave room. So with 5 seconds left, last tries from Mikael and also from Alex, this is going to do it for these two, and it's going to do it for boulder number 2 for us.
Yeah, and there you go.
Just going to walk away.
The highlight has been Melissa Leneve on boulder number 2, flashing it convincingly and in an insecure way, because that foothold, I can just confirm once again that it's just heinous.
Yep. Is it warm in there with the crowd? It is definitely warm in here. It's not as warm as the semifinal was. Just it's a cooler day in Montreal today.
Yeah.
There's a big fan over in the corner blowing
the garage door.
The
garage door's open, and so it's not that warm. I'd say it's okay. Probably a bit humid because it has been raining, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah. And right. Although we were saying they don't, right now we're in a 3-way tie for first with three flashes from 3 different climbers.
No bonus achieved. Although Alex Megos touched it a couple of times, he did not control it. So 3-way tie for the men. Falco, Alex Megos, and Mikael Mawem.
We're looking for boulders 3 and 4.
And you know what? Boulder number 3 for the men, and it just looks, I thought it looked a lot harder than boulder number 2.
Yep, I would agree.
And so if boulder number 2 stymied everybody, I'm really interested to see what this will look like. And
it's going to become a style question once again. Is different is not necessarily more difficult, but different is going to play into someone's strengths in a different way. So we're about to find out, as we say. Both of these problems look wonderful. The ladies' problem, feet first, double toe hooks out of the roof. Great for the crowd. Crowd loves the double toe hooks out of the roof.
Yeah, powerful moves out right afterwards on not so good holds. You know, they've got some purchase on them, but you'll have to display power.
Yep, decent holds. The men's problem has not decent holds. You won't really get an angle that shows you, but the big volume that dominates this boulder has 2 tiny screw-ons. One on the very bottom of the left face and one about 10 inches up on the right. So you can see where the chalk comes up the middle spine of that volume. At the top of that on the right facing side is a tiny crimp, and at the bottom on the corner is a tiny crimp.
Yeah.
The bonus is the entire thing, and the volume on the bottom of the volume is also not that good.
No. And the root setters chose gray screw-ons to also make it that much harder for the competitors to spot them. So
Aggie St. Jacques, Falco Filotto getting their first cracks at boulder number 3. Midro, there are 4 boulders in total. All right. Aggie St. Jacques lining up that first move. You're definitely going to need some squeeze to control that first move. It's not the worst screw-on in the world on that pinch, sloping pinch, but you need to put a lot of squeeze down coming out with your entire lower body, creating that momentum under that boulder. You need to do quite a bit to slow that down before you can even get into the toe first move. So
Yeah.
the first move is going to sap you a little bit.
You have to smear down onto that volume and do it convincingly. You don't have any holds on it, so again, it's a bit of it's friction dependent, and it will require a bit of strength.
Yeah. And you can see her right hand just coming off there. And what you really want in a move like that is you want the hand left behind to slow you down as much as you can to give you that opposition. No one is going to swing out and hold that left hand campused. It's not possible. Your momentum takes you past the useful point of that hold, but her right hand is coming out way too soon for her to be able to hold those two holds together.
Yeah.
So she needs to adjust what she's focusing on to be able to hold this first swing.
And maybe the solution for her is to get her hips, closer to the starting foot volume in the back of the roof, and maybe with a toe hook.
And a little less jump, right? A little less momentum is going to make that move easier too. You're right about that. Falco's taken 3 or 4 tries at the stand-up into the bonus press. We're going to zoom in on the first. That's a pretty good angle.
There we go.
On the first screw-on this volume. As you can tell, it's decent.
And you've got exactly the same screw-on on the other side, just about a foot up on that volume, like Pete said a bit earlier.
So here, Falco really, it's an awkward movement. It's not something you're going to see very often in traditional gym setting, in a training environment. So he's learning as he goes on a move like this.
Yeah, and he's a taller climber, and the feet and your hands are pretty much at the same height there.
Yeah.
So he's definitely probably a bit more uncomfortable to start off the boulder.
Yeah.
And he's generating a lot of momentum to get into that sort of undercling press. That again is also a move that we see in climbing, but not that much either. So.
Just going to keep trying. 40-odd seconds to go. I'm not sure. He's going in. His thumbs are the first thing hitting that volume.
Yeah.
I don't know that you don't want to turn your hands out and get more palm on there.
That's a good point.
Your thumbs don't have a lot of surface area. Aggie with Aggie visibly frustrated.
Yeah,
with the inability to control this first move.
What you were saying about the palm move, I think, is what the root setters had intended. So probably if he curls his fingers back and pushes up with the palms a bit. Meanwhile, the crowd's getting behind those two climbers.
Yep.
You want to see them progress.
Aggie running out of gas and running out of patience for boulder number 3. Falco a little less of a smile after this one.
Yeah, and that's 2 consecutive boulders on which he's had some difficulty establishing himself. I think that does do something. That might take its toll mentally. And I think other competitors will have that challenge of, bouncing back after a very, very difficult boulder too.
Absolutely, and after the immediate high of flashing the first boulder out of isolation, being like, first climber out, huge crowd, that's the biggest cheer you're going to hear of the night.
Yeah.
And now you've come down the slope a little bit, and now you've come down a little bit farther, and he needs, of course, to pick himself back up before boulder number 4. He knows that. He's seen it. They've seen all 4 boulders, so they know that there's no soft touches from here to the end. The finish line is still an uphill run.
Right.
Audrey and Seb, local favorites, Bloc shop team members. These guys have put a really good program together. Matt Johnson, who is coaching them, a good climber, a great coach, moved out here to come and do this. A good route setter in his own right. He's been doing some setting here. But a very, very hard-working coach, and I watched him during the qualifying round. I had full notes on all his team members for their attempts and results on the boulders through the qualification round. So he's fully invested as a coach, and that makes a huge difference to open athletes, is to have real feedback, not just, I think I remember you doing fairly well. There's Seb.
Instantly getting bonus on the first try with the palm method we were mentioning. And so now wants to go dynamically, but
I don't know.
I don't know what his luck will be with that.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. And you know, to continue about Matt Johnson and his coaching style, he was also filming competitors yesterday, and I think he's got a plan for everybody. And you know, the research that goes into the preparation, I think it's akin to what we're seeing in other countries, especially perhaps European nations that have, you know, been on the comp scene for a long time now. France, Germany, Austria, just to name a few. You've got Team Japan. That's, you know, these are climbing federations that have invested in the sport, that have gotten, you know, the means to develop their athletes in the optimal ways. So
absolutely, and it's become so much more serious of a sport that you do want to put that investment in, and then if you want to continue to be successful, you need to put that investment in. So it's definitely building upon itself. Oh, I see Seb in the coordination trying to flip that left hand to catch the underside of that bonus to slow down the swing. And I mean, maybe at that point even a right foot out. So kind of a right hand, left foot, right hand, a one and one.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to catch anything on that undercling, you'd be hard pressed to, because there's nothing. It's just volume.
Pressed is the right word. You are only pressed too. In fact, there's no grabbing going on.
Meanwhile, Audrey, she's a very powerful, dynamic climber. You know, she's had some good stands outside in Rocklands this summer. Climbed Macho King, a V10 that's very powerful. So I think this boulder number 3 for the ladies is well suited for her style. So hopefully she'll be able to progress and you know, kick her feet out after having controlled the next hold, which is
oh, so close. And she is, I mean, she's having a great time. She's got a minute to go. Almost the same thing. Her right hand came out. And you just have to, there's sometimes coordination moves are not, they don't look like coordination moves. You just have to, you're thinking so hard on this move, particularly for the ladies. You're thinking so hard about about sticking the left hand crimp. You're thinking so hard about the swing, and the last thing on your mind is your right hand. And as it comes out, you think, oh no, I needed to keep my right hand on. So the coordination is not always physical coordination. It's a mental coordination between what is my right hand doing, what is my left hand doing, what is my right foot doing in a static environment. So to be fair, the right hand is essentially a pinch. So you're not just cupping the underside of that volume, you're trying to hold 2 screw-on crimps. Seb is evaluating maybe just no. And yeah, with 0 time, he does manage to get on. And will he just take a minute here to take a breather?
I don't know how much of a breather you can take pressing with all your might. And
just sort of go and try harder.
Yeah, and talking with the route setters earlier, they had envisioned a bit of a foot traverse outright whilst pressing up into the bonus volume. You know, carefully branching your feet outright, pressing up into the volume to have your feet higher up in order to carefully go around the arête. But all that is, you know, for the moment, yet to be seen.
No, that is all theoretical currently. Although the route setters will tell you they've done them all while forerunning. Sometimes I don't believe them. Sometimes I do.
You know, they can do single moves, but have you been linking them in?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Oh, I did all the moves is not the same thing as, oh, I did the boulder.
Right.
Never has been, never will be, but people love to say that as a lead-in to how good, oh, I did all the moves. Okay, there's like 7 moves.
Right.
Did you do them in order? Well, no. Okay, did you put any of them together? No, I didn't do that either. So, yeah. You can always do all the moves. but you need to send the boulder. So Ty Landman, who was visibly frustrated after boulder number 2 and not being able to get out of the press, is yet again faced with a press move.
Yeah. Oh, going up
Excellent.
rather comfortably, one-handed.
Alyssa Weber getting her first taste of what it's going to take to hold that swing. So Ty is sort of testing his foot options, looking around the corner. I mean, this is what am I supposed to do here for real?
Yeah. It's not often you're pressing up and outwards.
Oh, no, maybe backwards.
Oh, and Alyssa's controlled
Alyssa
it.
stuck it.
Well done, Alyssa.
Here we go.
Getting the toe hook.
Now we're moving. Oh man, you just got to believe in the toe. Love it.
And yeah,
more toe hooks, more rubber on the top of your shoes. That's something we didn't used to have. Oh, just not quite getting enough ankle turn to pull down. You could see her kind of trying to readjust it 2 or 3 times. Maybe just on the laces more than on the rubber. Really tough to tell on that much body tension what went wrong to have it not stick.
yeah. And interestingly, Alyssa seemed like she wanted to get, she's facing outward. She's got that toe hook. She was trying to reach out to her right, but to our left here to get that sort of side pull sort of scoop. But
Yep.
I don't know if that is the intended beta. I think you'd be better off trying to double toe hook. But then again, I'm not in the finals and I'm not climbing.
Valid points. Minute and a half left. Alyssa's going to brush a bit, and we're going to see what Ty can come up with here.
Yeah. So
I don't know that there's that many options on this boulder. Yeah, there's maybe there's a jump and a swing. Alyssa controlling that again.
Alyssa powering out, giving it everything she's got, and yeah, reestablishing a toe hook.
Oh, if that toe stays, this is what we need. Oh, and a knee bar. If that knee bar is going to stick, I think she's got her fingers stuck in it, which is horrible.
Wow, and she's chalking out.
Oh, yes. You can see here that the toe hook is more of an ankle smear.
Oh, that was a strong effort from Alyssa Weber.
The pretzel she was in with a toe hook and a knee bar with a hand knee bar and then a reach through. Like, this is not a comfortable body position to be in, let alone move out of.
Yeah, and she just a couple of seconds before was chalking up.
Yeah, and she's going to jump right back into it, and you know that took everything out of her. I really hope she can stick this move again. No, it's a lot to ask to have put that much effort in and be able to do this move one more time. You can tell she's just gassed.
Yeah, she gave it all in that burn a couple of seconds ago, and solid effort from Alyssa Weber, getting higher up on that boulder than all the other competitors, but so far not yet gotten to bonus. No one has touched that. It's on the volume where you have 2 screw-ons on it.
Exactly, and someone just said yes, she did put up a V11 this summer in Squamish, so that was Alyssa's first V11.
Yeah.
Spent quite a bit of time in Squamish this summer, going and climbing rock.
Yeah, I believe it's a Black Hole in Squamish that she climbed, and that's pretty proud. It's, I think, a long boulder as
Yeah,
well.
I'm not super familiar. I don't know it.
I've never been.
I just know that V11 is V11 is V11.
No, that's right.
If you can climb V11, you're a good climber. And climbing on rock is always going to be one of the best ways to get better at climbing. It teaches you so much about subtlety. It teaches you so much about learning to move, learning to see options.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for going and climbing outside.
Absolutely. It's so much fun, too.
generally.
Yeah, you can get your scrapes on. The rock can be unforgiving, but it offers some lasting memories and lessons.
Many lessons.
All right, so Yerne getting to the bonus on his first attempt as well.
And see, I like this approach. And
wow,
I kind of can't believe that no one else tried to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
it doesn't seem like it was that difficult.
He's doing it very well. Pressing out.
Wow. With a wonderful flash.
And there you go. That's a flash of boulder number 3.
How excited is he right now? Meanwhile, Melissa Lenev went into double toe hooks and then matched the toe hook hold instead of where Alyssa was going to.
Yeah, and he's
straight to bonus.
He's getting the crowd behind Melissa, and she's first to get to bonus, and otherwise she's looking very solid. She's probably gonna need to rest and shake it off a bit before attempting the final part of this boulder.
And I love to see when the male competitor or the female competitor stays out to cheer on their partner on the wall.
Yeah.
They don't have to go back right away. So it's fantastic to watch them stay out and help out. What a great effort.
Yeah. So good on Melissa. I think she's still got 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, tons of time.
So she knows what she has to do. But yeah, that move out right is far. And she'll have to regroup.
Yeah, so there's a couple questions here about the difficulty. They might be disappointed that nobody did number 2, but as we said at the beginning of the feed, what the route setters want is each boulder to be done, not by everyone. So 4 sends is also not exciting. So the boulders are meant to put on a show. They're meant to see people try very, very hard. Of course, they want to see people get through bonuses. They want to see people top stuff. But so far, only one boulder hasn't seen a top, and that's success in the route setter's eyes. So they're hard. I don't know that they're too hard.
Right, and you know, it's always the case as well in competitions where it might well just have been too hard to figure out in 5 minutes, you know, or 4 minutes, 4 minutes plus. So, you know, coming back afterwards, you might have a session of strong climbers trying to attempt boulder number 2 again, just for, you know, vengeance purposes, getting even with that boulder, and they might just, you know, figure it out and send it together. So
yep, that's true too. An interesting point from Paul. It is obviously very difficult to set for an international field that has a few local climbers that made the cut. So yes, Melissa, this is going to be her last try for sure. And
we got a judge out here.
Oh,
is it because of the blood on the knee?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
necessarily
Melissa
that's a thing.
Scraped herself. So yeah, we see that Melissa has scratched her knee up, her right knee up. So
the official rules are that you must be able to stop the bleeding.
yeah, and I think time has been stopped, and that's what the MC is announcing to everybody. So
we're gonna run out. We're gonna get her cleaned up. I mean, everybody, the crowd booed a little bit. People don't like judgy things getting in the way of excitement. They do this for a reason. They don't want to have blood on the holds and have someone else climb with blood on the holds. Chloe's given Melissa a pair of sweats to put on, saying that you know, you can climb with pants on because then you don't have the blood on the outside. So we're just going to have a little debate with our head judge about what the actual rules are going to be for this comp in terms of what needs to be done for Melissa to be able to take one more crack at this boulder. They've reset the clock to 2 minutes, which is interesting. So that might be the default minimum amount of time that you get back is 2 minutes. I know that in some environments you need to be able to stop the bleeding in the time allotted to you, otherwise you do not get to continue. So we got definitely not a medical crew, but we got Fred Charon with a handful of Band-Aids. And that's going to be enough to let her go back and try this boulder.
A minute hiatus, and she's got herself her Band-Aid.
Yeah.
We're good to go again.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, we're back on. Melissa, with 2 minutes to solve this problem, she had progressed and had reached the bonus hold.
And she's right back into it. So let's see if she can have kept her own personal momentum in that little downtime. I think so.
Yes.
Yes, she has. Back to the bonus. Now this right hand she's going to is, I like this heel hook for sure.
Yeah.
The right hand is good but not good but not great, and just needed to be a little bit farther around the outside. However, with the time added back on the clock, she's been gifted with another minute.
Right. And that's why it's always a bit peculiar.
Yep.
But she's willing to go ahead and concentrate on what's ahead of her, so good on her.
Yeah, and as Stacy says, a nice little extra rest. So, not something that anybody ever wants to do is bleed on the holds, and then get a rest out of it. But
and she's having fun.
She's having fun with it. She's been putting on the best show on the wall so far. So quick shakeout.
33 seconds to go.
She'll pull on with 5 or 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
And hopefully just put that little extra oomph in to stick this hold past the bonus. She wants to top this boulder.
Yeah, and like some competitors might have said, some people on the live chat saying she's putting in more burns though into this problem, so perhaps she'll be a bit more tired for boulder number 4. So yeah, that's the flip side of this extra time.
And that was a great shot of her keeping her toe hook where the first 2 climbers tried to go dynamically and were unable to hold the swing, but she had enough body tension to keep that left toe hook on to make that first move.
Wow.
I love that. Release the toe as you're bringing the hand up. The coordination there is remarkable. Just lock this crimp down.
Trying to get that knee bar that initially scraped her knee. And she's got a sort of hip
bar.
Yeah.
It's only so much you can do.
All right, well.
She's going to go get fixed up. She's got 20 minutes or so to get that looked after. So maybe a little bit better of a job, maybe some gauze and some tape. And make sure we don't have that come off again.
And so people are brushing the holds on these problems. We're going to have some other competitors come out as well. We've still got Alex Megos for the men, Mikael Mawem, Alex Puccio, and Alana Yip for the ladies. So
we still got enough climbers to see a top on women's number 3, and to see if anybody else can put down what Jerne put down on problem number 3.
Yeah,
I mean, really made it look quite easy.
Cruised it. He just cruised it, and that's where World Cup experience. That's where.
And that's what you train for, and I don't know what the difference was where that Seb and couldn't think, and the same with Ty, couldn't think to just go to the volume lower down, which was more in reach. So maybe they didn't have the same footwork, maybe not quite as tall, I don't know. Way too many factors.
Meanwhile, Alex Megos just trying to trick the MC here, Dr. Step. He's funny. Yeah. He's having fun.
He's definitely having fun. Breaking the rules just a little bit.
Yeah, so there's someone said, I hope the pros go climb in Val David and in and around after the comp. I spoke to a couple of them, and some of them will unfortunately not be able to go out and sample some of the nice rocks, some of the nice granite we have here in Quebec, in the Laurentians, just north of Montreal. But Alex Megos, actually, that's climbing, he was telling me that he was looking to go back to Rumney. So he wasn't specific about what he wanted to get on. And, you know, it's interesting because he's been to Rumney and he's practically cleared the area
So maybe
already.
there's a project or two hidden in the corner.
Right. So keep your eyes peeled. We might hear of something being done out in New Hampshire soon.
So Alana, yep, successfully through the start. Also getting into the toe hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, just hanging on to that match. She's going to do, so she's going to go to the same hold that Alyssa tried to go to and was unable to hang on to. And I mean, the hold where your toe is farther away, and you saw as Melissa got to it, she had to release the toe hooks because some people just aren't that bendy. So maybe a little bit more difficult to get to. The other hold is closer, but that hold is definitely better. So probably worth the extra effort to match where your toes are versus to try and go out to that other left-facing scoop.
Yeah, and the left-facing scoop, I know that from, you know, what you're seeing at home, it's not that positive. So the scoop that that the competitors are getting their toe hooks on is much more positive.
Yeah, somebody said he's going to go to Rumney and do the fly. I feel
He's
that maybe
done that.
he's done the fly.
He's done that.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's on the internet. He's done that.
Same approach, grabbing the side of the volume, but with less success. So I don't know if that's his footwork. What's the difference between him and Yerne on this move? But he's into the press very easily. That's not stressing him out at all.
So yeah, Alex is doing the right thing. Oh, maintaining
There
the
you go.
compression and the
So getting ever closer with each piece of the puzzle, and now Alana choosing to do the same thing as Melissa and match where the toes were. Doing a veteran move to establish the bonus within reach, but unable to use it with that right hand.
Yeah, and those feet are really close to your hands, so you're sort of bunched up to do this crossover move.
And it's tiny, you can see there. What an awful pair of holds to try and grab. I don't think they're going to give her the bonus on that. I think she sort of swung and missed it. If she doesn't get to it again, it will be very interesting to see what the judges decided. I wouldn't give it to her. I've judged a little bit. I don't think that she established control or made a movement out of that bonus hold.
Really?
Not with her. If you can go up and touch it, the rules have changed. You can't just go up and touch it and come back down again. You need to make a movement with it. You have to show that you can use it. So pulling up with your right hand and touching it and coming back down again. If she had grabbed it and then moved her left hand or moved her foot, that would be control of the bonus. But going up and touching it, not enough. And then when she went with her left hand, she just kind of snatched at it and didn't ever really slow down and stop on it. So I don't think that that's control of the bonus hold. You know, everybody's a judge, right? The same way everybody's an armchair ref.
You know, I'd have to agree with you on that. You've got the rules down tight, Pete. So
Megos is going to get one more try, and Alana's getting one more try. The clock is at 0. Oh, Alana slipped. Just not enough gas, and Alex is going to need to do just a little bit more. Oh, and he has.
That's just amazing, folks. You know, that crimp is so bad. And he's bumped up.
He's bumped. I don't know where.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's disappointed, but maybe smiling. I don't know where his right hand was in order for him to bump his left hand up. What was he holding on to?
I don't know, because from where we were, we couldn't see that. But wow, what an effort by Alex to progress and stick that move. That was very proud.
Unfortunately, it doesn't get you any farther in the standings.
No.
It gains you some love in the crowd.
Absolutely.
It gains you some of that. I tried my hardest, but it doesn't get you any farther ahead in the standings. So tops are king, bonuses are good.
Yeah, and the bonus is the first hold that you reach on this boulder. So
yes, right?
So for Alex, that doesn't make much of a difference. Because he hadn't topped boulder number 1, and obviously the men hadn't progressed that much on boulder number 2, but just by flashing boulder number 3, which has proven difficult to say the least in such a casual way, he's in second place. Just a couple of attempts.
Just like that, right?
Yeah. Just a couple of attempts behind Alexander Megos, but there's still Mikael.
And still lots of climbing to come. I'm not going to say that this is Alex's style because I feel that would be the jinx. But I think she'll be happy to have some holds to grab.
I think you just jinxed her, Pete. I think you just did.
But I do think she'll be happy to have some holds to grab versus some slabs to grab. So.
Yes, I think we're going to see a happier Alex. And there you go.
Yeah.
She's working the crowd.
And the comp is not out of reach, right? Nobody's top 2 boulders. So a top of 3 and a top of 4 puts you back in contention for a podium.
Yeah.
An unnecessary toe hook for her. Straight campus through that move.
Wow.
Showing you the biceps.
Trying to get a heel in there.
I don't know that my knees bend that way. Oh, very, very clever. No, she did not. Yes,
I think she did.
I think she did.
Wow.
She's happy to have some holds to grab.
Did the French blow with in a one arm
on what is not a great hold. Wow. The difference in power.
And so what will she do next? Will she smear her? Yeah, she's going to smear her left foot out.
Wow.
Waves to the crowd confidently before matching, and Alex Puccio has flashed problem number 3.
I got to admit that my heart picks up a few notches there. The moves between those 2 slopers, that has just turned around her confidence, her mental game, and her desire to come out and rip out number 4 to put herself back near the top. That was a wonderful display of climbing. Technically very good. Something you might not have seen. She very smartly caught the underside of the volume where her toe hooks were before she came and matched it to slow her momentum down. And then she did a one-arm 180 Euro blow and then casually finished the boulder. So
amazing.
A wonderful display for the crowd and a really, really good example of what she's capable of if she can get her paws wrapped around some holds.
Yeah, without question. Really cruised it and didn't seem out of sorts at all at any point on that boulder. And just by doing that, before her send, she was 5th out of 6 competitors because she hadn't done problem number 1 and she hadn't touched bonus on problem number 2. So now she's in 2nd place behind Melissa Leneve, who's topped boulders 1 and 2. So this is really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. With a little bit of time left, Mikael has been stumped by the move out of the bonus here. We've been distracted by, and this will happen, we've been a little bit distracted by what Alex just did. But in the meantime, Mikael has been definitely suffering from a lack of the next move on this boulder. So not wanting the volume here again is just bad for your feet. I kind of feel that you almost need to have moved your left hand, shuffled it over a little bit to change the angle on your wrist before reaching out and compressing the other side of that volume.
I think you're right. And, Mikael was sort of aiming for the jib on the corner of the volume.
No, he's going to try and crimp the volume. That's not going to cut it. So full effort, ran up with 2 seconds on the clock to put that last try down.
And Mikael is such a great competitor, pulls it all out, and the crowd loves the effort here.
Yeah, the one-arm 180 chuck up. So that becomes a thing. We might call that the pooch.
Yeah.
So we got moon kicks, we got pixie kicks, we got the pooch.
And interestingly, there was a very popular move that Sean McColl and Josh Larson did here a couple of years back at the 2015 Canadian Nationals. It was the almost 360 one-arm move. They had to unwind and come out of this corner they were in, and that's made the rounds on the internet. So
absolutely, one of my favorite moments from that. Josh Larson is a big character in the climbing community as well, and I love that people went on and posted the video of Sean doing it over and over and over. And at one point he said, "I did it too." And he posted this video of him doing the move, and he's like, "Guys, I did it too." And we only talked about Sean doing it, and he was like, "Hey, remember me?
Yeah,
I also did that move."
I remember when Josh did it. He was the first competitor to do it because he was out before Sean, and it was also epic to see it.
Yeah.
And so Matt on the chat is telling us that he called this move that Josh and Sean did in 2015 here at Bloc Shop. He's calling it the disco ball. So, all right, we got the pixie kick, the disco ball. We've got what else, Pete? The one-handed chalk.
The one-handed 180 chalk up, the one-arm 180 chalk up, with a bit of a Euro blow in the middle.
Yeah.
Sort of the all-in. So we're on our last boulder. Boulder number 4. Wonderful looking boulders, as you've seen all the way along.
Yeah, and these will also, be a good show, I believe, because a lot of moves, a lot of power to close out this comp. For the ladies, it's going to be quite a bit of compression on delier and also some flat hold volumes.
And then a huge commitment at the end.
Yeah, that's a big jug, but like you said, Pete, you got to commit to reach out and grab it. So. And
it's interesting that you said a lot of moves, because there are. A couple of these boulders that you noticed, the women's boulder number 3 had a lot of moves on it. Sometimes you get boulders that only have 3 or 4 actual moves, even though there might be a few more holds. This is a lot of climbing in both instances. That for the men to extricate themselves from this group of stalactites, they're going to have to do quite a bit of work, and you can get tired very, very quickly switching between left hand, right hand, left foot, right foot. When there's no holds to point you where to grab and how to grab it, wrestling volumes becomes a tiresome adventure.
Yeah.
So when you've got a hold to grab, it points you mentally to what you should be doing. When you just have 3 gigantic volumes that are all 3-sided, where do you grab? How do you grab? Do you push? Do you pull? There's so many options.
Yeah.
That the stress and the decision making that comes along with that at the end of the round. I mean, it's cruel, but why not? You're a professional climber.
You got to figure this out quickly. Yeah. And just for those that are at home, the stalactites that Pete was talking about, you have no jibs on those whatsoever. There is nothing behind that climbers could latch onto. It is what you see is what you get. You've got pretty strong edges on those stalactites. But apart from that, you have nothing else.
A pretty good friction. Those dimension volumes, they come with a good amount of friction. I bumped into one yesterday and started bleeding immediately. So good for that. It gives you some purchase. They're not like some of maybe your old school volumes or the second Nationals in Toronto way back in 1999 or 2000. They made volumes out of plexiglass.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that.
It might be the greatest thing I've ever seen is they made at Joe Rockheads, they made volumes out of plexiglass. Anybody who was there or saw it, Bob, if you're online, back me up. The genius and cruelty at the same time. They put actual holds
slippery
on them, but they were essentially dual text volumes, and I'm amazed that no one has tried to do it since, because they were devious and genius, and I love and hated them at the same time.
Yeah, I remember seeing photos of that comp. I obviously wasn't there, but saw that Gripped, I believe, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that did not make my day.
No, I bet not. So Falco and Aggie are out, and Falco is progressing.
He is progressing, and he did not have to make a lot of extra decisions, so call me a liar. He just grabbed the first 2 volumes and moved out of them.
Yeah, and he's keeping those toes active. you know, in this comp we've had a lot of toe hooks, and these final boulders will have some for the men and the women.
Yeah, this is really good stuff from Falco. You got a good shot there of how physically strong he is. He's got lots of extra power, although he's a bit stymied here. Oh, amazing.
Was that a pixie kick to get his heel up?
I don't know what you call that because he kept his left foot down. That was sort of a hip opening. Oh. So that'll tell you how, although they look pretty good, that'll tell you how bad those yellow holds are. He worked really hard to hang on to that volume.
So we got our Falco fans on the live chat going crazy.
Yeah. PCM volume says dual text. That's worth noting. I'll go tell Josh that so we can bring him to our gym. And Adrian, my memory is terrible for that kind of thing. 2003 sounds about right as well. Smooth metal feature at Alley Up. Well, great. So things are coming back. I like this. I like this a lot. That was full effort from Falco, I think, just to get his right heel up. You know, that was a lot of effort.
Yeah, and I think it's Alex Pucio's mother that has explained what the situation is between, I think, Melissa Leneve and Alex Puccio going onto boulder number 4 is that if Alex Puccio flashes boulder number 4 and we have Melissa not able to top it, then this is the situation in which Alex Puccio could, you know, get the lead and win this comp.
But if Melissa tops the boulder, then the best that Alex can do is second.
Right. That's clear. With 2 tops, Melissa, you know, topping number 1 and 2. She's got a strong option on this comp at this point in time.
And Falco is taking a huge rest. This will tell you what this problem took out of him. He's taking almost a 2-minute rest here.
Yeah.
And he's going to give himself 1 try, all or nothing. Aggie has been, while working hard, unsuccessful in terms of sticking the move to this first volume. She can't get these crimps to stick for very long. And it's, I mean, you can just see the fight that she's putting in.
Yeah.
Just to get up there. That right hand is a big wide pinch.
15 seconds to go here.
So Aggie, Falco sticks this again. Aggie is thinking about getting on one more time. Ooh, holds it with the toes coming out. Aggie's going to give it one last try as well. I mean, why not, right?
And the crimp that she was just trying to launch off is just heinous. It's actually a bump crimp, I believe. So.
Oh, look, he's got to keep his toe hook in order to just get his foot up. But wow, fantastic effort from Falco.
Yeah, he got to bonus on his flash attempt, and so you know, after flashing boulder number 1, he's still, I think, got some good possibilities for this finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, he climbed hard and he climbed well, and he topped a boulder. And there's not a lot you can ask in a field like this than to top a finals boulder
in front of the home crowd as well. So, yeah, well done, Falco.
Yeah, I think 90% of the people in this room would not top a finals boulder in this round. So, respect to Falco for putting on the show that he's put on to this point. And although it looked like maybe that was advantage tall climber, not being able to get his right heel up very easily, maybe that now turns into advantage bendy climber, which is regardless of height.
And who's the bendy climber in our lineup?
I don't really know that we've got one. Mikael did got a foot up over his head on number 2, so I would argue that he's quite bendy. And I don't know that Yerne is that bendy, but he's also just brutally strong.
Right.
Maybe unnecessary.
Which may be what, you know, trumps bendiness.
Yeah. You work your way down the things that you need to get to. And if you're really strong, you don't need to be overly clever. You don't need to be overly technical. If you're losing a few points on the strength scale, then you need to fill that in with some other things. You need to be tricky. You need to be smart. You need to be precise. And if you're just a monster, you can be a monster.
And you've just, you know, mentioned everything that you need to be here in a finals. All the qualities that a climber would need to just get together, amass to progress. So that's how complicated and also how diverse climbing is.
Exactly. There's no one-trick ponies winning comps anymore. Which is an expression I can't believe I just used. Oh, the one-trick pony.
Yeah.
With Seb confidently moving through these volumes.
Trying to get a knee bar.
A dangerous knee bar.
Yeah, trying to use that to just scoot his
his
right hand up. He's managed to do so.
But again, he's fighting to find good position. This is now a big move. Oh, but well held. And a completely different, while still doing toe hooks, a completely different order of events than Falco.
Yeah. And also flashing to get the bonus. So I think what will be important on this boulder is to top it.
And releasing this left toe. Yeah, that's
that toe is
showing
good.
to be the crux. The toe is what's holding you on, and the angle of the holds and the angle of the wall and the lack of anything to grab on those holds, you start to slide out as soon as that toe comes out.
Right. Is it a sloper? Is it a pinch? It's
a scoop.
It's a scoop.
It's a sloping scoop.
It's a bit of everything.
It's a bit of everything.
Except a crimp.
It is a really nice hold. I wouldn't mind seeing those in my gym either, Josh Muller.
Yeah, those holds are quite popular on the World Cup circuit as well. And
it's all about holds, right?
Yeah, it's the name of the game. And here at Bloc Shop, have a lot of nice holds, and a lot of them have been sponsors today. Dimension volumes, Delir holds, flat hold, kilter.
And an interesting point from Mrs. Puccio is that Melissa is an awesome competitor and so strong, and people are surprised that she retired from international comps, especially after making 2 podiums in 2nd place and then a couple of 5th place finishes. So, being in the top 5 in more than half of the comps on the World Cup and then retiring. So Seb Lazur is, with a minute to go, is maybe giving himself 2 tries at this.
Yeah.
But it does take a while to climb this boulder. Not counting a slip off the first move. And Audrey's struggling to get, I said it. Audrey having trouble getting to past the intro to this women's problem. Fatigue for sure setting in. It's early in the comp season, also known as maybe the first comp of the year. So that fitness that comes in January isn't there yet.
Exactly.
Not the same effort through the summer that you put in the winter.
So Seb having a really hard time trying to get his right hand up the volume. And Audrey is progressing, inching her way up this boulder.
And getting bendy. So kind of the split double toe hooks.
Wow.
Compression with the feet is a wonderful skill to have, while also very tiring. It got her closer than she was before. You can tell she kind of wants to be done, but with 10 seconds to go, I feel that the crowd wants her to not be done.
Yeah, she's got to go back up. And there she is, chalked up, 3 seconds.
Back up in it, and Seb's back up in it. So a couple local Bloc Shop climbers, a couple of wonderful people. Audrey with just nothing left in the tank. Full respect for a great round tonight. And then Sebastien going to cop a little no hands for just a second there. Or maybe even longer.
Yeah, he's found himself a nice little double knee bar.
Monsieur Lazur, yes. A wry smile for the crowd. All right, you don't want to spend forever there. That can't be a comfortable position, but did it give him enough to get past this move? Sebastien Lazur, what have you got for us? Oh, that's a lot of work. Now, he might just jump. He might just jump. Oh, desperation, dynamic foot match.
Yeah.
Amazing effort. from an amazing competitor. Big thank you to the crowd. Great round, Seb. Great round.
So probably gonna just benefit from this to give a shout out to our sponsors.
Yes.
Without whom this big major comp couldn't have occurred. So we've got North Face and Fondation Bouldering Montréal, Ortho Canada, Dimension Volume, Scarpa, Delir Holds. We got Flat Hold, La Sportiva, Flashed, Tenaya, Kilter, Grips, Siren, and Trou du Diable. That's a microbrewery here in Quebec, and it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, they've been doing wonderful business tonight. Lots of people having a beer and enjoying it. And we've said it before, and we cannot say it enough, that you need to get sponsors to support comps. The gyms can't do it on their own. The output of effort and money to host a comp of this size, the gym's been closed for 4 days.
Yeah.
So no revenue, you're paying route setters, you're working crazy hours, the amount of physical effort. So to the Bloc Shop crew, yes, the North Face is the title sponsor, absolutely a huge big deal, but to the Bloc Shop crew, to Michelle, to Nick, to Fred, to Chloe, that's a huge hats off to you guys. Much respect for wanting to do this and then having the means, having the wherewithal, having the desire to make it successful. That's what we need for Canadian bouldering to progress, to give us enough athletes to put onto a World Cup stage. So I cannot and I won't stop saying how important it is for gym owners and athletes and volunteers to step up and support local competition scenes in Canada.
Yeah.
You cannot
Get
take
involved.
anything away.
Get involved and make a difference. We've got, visionary people here at Bloc Shop to make this happen. So I hope this is the first of many such comps at such a scale.
Absolutely. And then all the people that came here, and I think they paid to get in to watch the finals, and I
They
love
did.
to see that. I love seeing people that are like, this is worth $5 to me or $10 to me. I don't want to not see it. So if you're in town, go and do a little comp. Go climb in the Citizens Comp and realize that the money you're spending is supporting. It's not going in the gym's pockets. They're not driving fancy cars. It's supporting the event in total. So Ty Landman moving through past the bonus.
Yeah.
Alyssa Weber
Progressing well.
progressing as well.
Oh, Alyssa Weber almost getting to the bonus. Didn't quite control it, but was the first to put a dent into that boulder and get closer to that bonus hold.
Ty into the business and has, ooh, yes, and you can see that I think he can do that. He's opted for the campus where Seb and Falco really had to work hard to try and even get a heel anywhere near the bonus hold. He just decided that the hop and campus was going to be better, and very nearly was.
And it's like a campus and compression move at the same time. Like what he would have to do to get the second to last hold is, obviously launch up perhaps in a campus way, and then squeeze, compress those two holds together, those two scoops.
Alyssa Weber establishing the bonus and still needs to release this left toe, and that is going to be real, real hard.
Yeah.
So she's climbed herself into a requirement.
Oh,
And very nearly held the swing. So
yeah, it was a big swing out right, and
you saw a lot of movement for her with that left toe hook, which kept her going. But the farther you climb out of a toe hook, the harder it becomes to release it when you need to.
The swing
momentum
becomes bigger.
Yeah. As I said, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the ground, it's the sudden stop. So this is the opposite. It's not the sudden stop, it's the sudden start that makes it hard to keep moving.
So Tyler Landman's already back up there, 1 minute, 20 seconds to go, and making a strong case for himself.
He looks comfortable on this hold.
Yes.
Oh no!
That was a brutal fall. He looks
like
okay.
He looks okay. But he held the swing all the way out and then just not quite on the way back.
And she's just crimping a really bad hold. Getting that toe hook again.
Oh, Alyssa Weber, look at that. That is a show of strength to stick that bonus. Love it. Absolutely love it. Keep moving, Alyssa.
And now she has to move out left.
I don't know that she's going to have enough gas in the tank to be able to stick that shoulder move again, but she is absolutely going to try. You can count on that. Ty Landman hustling up to get through this boulder. If you can hold the swing out and you're coming off on the way in, he knows he just has to get a foot on somewhere to be able to keep that swing, and then you're only a half a move away from the finish. And he's out of gas.
He knows it, but he's chalking up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's going to do what Seb did and maybe just hang out in these stalactites for a minute and try and recover something in those forearms.
Yeah,
and
hopefully he can get comfortable with those knee bars, but with those shorts and that grip, there you go.
Put everything into it. Alyssa Weber as well put everything into it, just unable to hold that shoulder-intensive swing. Amazing round from both of these two competitors. I love seeing Alyssa make it onto this stage. She said she qualified into semis in 19th place and catapulted up to 5th place. So that's just a wonderful show to begin with, and then to have climbed really quite well in the finals boulders tonight. She should be very happy with that performance, and as happy as we were to watch her do it.
Yeah, she was climbing great on 3 and boulder number 4, and almost made it a bit higher to that last committing move on boulder number 4 for the ladies. So
Lana Yip has got a podium spot. The color is to be determined. So if Alana flashes this boulder and Alex doesn't do it, then Alana's in 2nd and Alex is in 3rd. And if Alex does it and Melissa doesn't, then she's in 1st. So there is still some climbing to prove results on this last boulder. A tall order to flash this boulder, a really tall order. But if they've been talking about it in ISO, she knows it's an option. She knows it's there. She knows that she can go from 3rd to 2nd. So you don't want to be satisfied with it. Nobody wants to be 3rd. People want to be 2nd. People want to be 1st, obviously. It is going to take a lot of work. I really hope that she throws it down, and it would be amazing to see her take 2nd place at this comp, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
She's deserved the spot. She's climbed that well to this point.
Absolutely. Had great semi-round qualifiers as well. Looked really strong. Was the only woman to stick the dyno on a really hard boulder number 3 in the semifinals yesterday. So, yeah, I agree with everything you've just said, Pete.
If we could just have a quick look at the men's results to see where we're at this stage with the climbers we've got left to come.
Yeah, so on the men's side,
everything is up for grabs.
I think so, and the results are interesting. Boulder number 1 got 3 climbers on top, and then Yerne didn't manage to do it, but flashed boulder number 3. So, he's well suited to excel on boulder number 4 and get it done. We'll see if that.
Yerne, Alex, and Michael have the podium up for grabs between all of them at this point.
Right, and in what order?
That is seen.
Yeah, that is not established yet. Oh,
Melissa, just as she was winding up to make that move, it just had
nasty,
that snappy movement. Always a gentleman, Michel Charette, delivering beer over to Phil and myself.
Yes. Trou du Diable. It's good stuff.
Et c'est délicieux. Merci beaucoup, Trou du Diable. Yerne. Yerne is going to campus this as well. Oh, look at that left hand. Yes.
And he's psyched.
A flash here is, I'm not going to say it yet. He is psyched.
Wow.
Yes.
Has destroyed the second half of this comp. Boulders 3 and 4 flashed by Yerne Kruder.
And you could see the moment in that return swing and that he knew he had established control.
Yeah, he sort of flagged his left foot out, to control the swing, and
just slowed down
and looked at the
right
crowd.
away. He knew he had it. Meanwhile, Melissa has done smooth work to get to the bonus on her second try and is looking at these little crimps. And we are going to get a good look at these moves.
This foot match is dicey.
Yeah. The top of that pinch volume is terrible, for the record. That left foot that she's using,
yeah,
not very good.
I don't know if it would be, and again, this is the weaker armchair climber talking, but I don't know if it would be interesting for Melissa to put her left foot out to the left before attempting to go to the top of that module to pinch those two jibs. So
Yerne just got a beer.
Yes, well
I don't know where that came from. Well-deserved beer. I love that someone
Cheers,
decided to do that.
Yerne.
Cheers to Yerne.
So the crowd's getting behind Mel. She's still got about 1 minute 22 seconds.
I don't know if she changed her shoes or just took them off and put them back on again.
Sometimes at the end of a comp, I would imagine that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, maybe she changed her shoes. She's got a pair of shoes in front of her, and somebody asked me yesterday, and I straight up said the climbers don't bring two pairs of shoes. They just deal with them, whether they're on a slab or a steep problem.
There you go.
And they made a liar out of me. So Melissa brought another pair of shoes out and has put on something maybe with a slightly different amount of aggression for her to be able to step on the top of this pinch, because she knows Alex is nipping at her heels here, and she might be thinking that this is Alex's style of boulder. So with she's only given herself enough room for one try.
Yeah, Dr. Stepp's telling the crowd to get into it. Dr. Stepp, for those of you that don't know, he's from the break and b-boy community. He's I saw him on the floor earlier. There was a nice comp, breakdancing comp, and actually the finals will occur after this.
And as we see Melissa stick that shoulder move,
Amazing.
Slowing it down, and she's climbing with determination, I would argue. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and you see she's having trouble with that foot. It's really not giving her the purchase she wants, and
not quite enough on the volume to save that swing out.
Yeah, that's it for Melissa, but
she's opened the door.
Yes.
She has opened the door. A wonderful effort from Melissa. Merci beaucoup, Melissa.
But let's remind everybody that Alex will have to flash.
She does have to flash it.
Boulder number 4 in order to move Melissa out of this top spot.
Yeah. Oh, and then a beer for Melissa as well. No, she says, don't worry, I'll have it. Isaac was going to take it. He was like, maybe I'll get you a different beer.
No, he was
like,
holding
no,
it
no,
for
maybe
he's
he was
gentlemanly.
He's
I know Isaac. He was just trying to help out.
Just trying to help out, not stealing your beer. So the crowd has a hushed anticipation. I don't know if they've been keeping track as carefully as you have at home and are putting the pieces together that there is an opportunity here.
Yeah, and just for the men, we're looking over the scores here, and it seems like if Mikael flashes boulder number 4, he would go into top spot. So he is yet to come out and climb.
No, he has one less bonus.
He's one less bonus?
No, you're right. If he flashes through, he'll get 3 bonuses in 3. So he will move into top spot. You're absolutely right.
So again, that's theoretical.
Yep.
But it's possible. And such a powerful climb is not out of reach for Mikael Mauem by any stretch of the imagination.
No, you might even say it's right up his alley.
I think so.
Yeah. Nick has asked, will the Bloc Shop host this again next year? The intention is yes, do both. So the draw is, if I'm going to come to North America, I might as well go to 2 comps. That was always why our World Cup was just in opposition to the U.S. World Cup, is to encourage the European climbers to come over. And for a couple of years, it was fantastic because the first year, a few climbers came, and you could afford to say, well, if I don't get the points from this event, then it's no big deal because I'm not losing places in the standings. And now, if all the top climbers go and you don't, you are losing positional points for the overall title. So once the critical mass tips over to come to a comp, everybody else follows.
Yeah.
So maybe with this kind of event, if the critical mass tips over to say, I'm going to go to these comps, and it's not for standings, but it's for money, which they don't do it for the money. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not, they're not doing this to get rich. But if you don't bring the purse, then you don't always get international climbers. So the money is important. They don't climb for the money, but the money brings the climbers here because it's a nice reward for quite a large expense to come to competition. So,
yeah, and
yes,
the hurdle is
every
getting
year.
these European climbers, over the Atlantic, and especially with a lot of stops in Asia for the World Cup, it becomes that much more of a hurdle. So if we want to have the best climbers here in Canada, this is what you have to do.
Absolutely. And interesting point, and then we'll get back immediately to the action, is from Mrs. Puccio. It's the same weekend as the Portland Boulder Rally. So maybe they need to sort that out between the three of them, between Austin, Portland, and Montreal here, and get those comps on complementary weekends.
Good point. And
thanks that she's also said our show was much better this year. So yeah, we appreciate that. We do what we can. So Alex Megos, no problem up to the bonus here, matching these holds nicely.
And you were talking about bendiness.
That counts.
Yeah, he's rather supple.
Yes, he is. He still doesn't look like he wants to let go of this left toe hook, though. Oh, nice work. So even smoother than Yerne.
Yeah.
That's a big smile
he's
from
good
him.
at climbing, isn't he?
He is excellent at climbing.
I think he's good.
Just if you were wondering, Alex Megos is very good at climbing. Yeah, people say there's some hiccups in the audio. It doesn't go down. We know there's it's YouTube. So refresh your page and you'll be back in the action. I know it hangs a couple times here and there. It's been fantastic so far. We have had some pretty good feedback about the
We've got a great team here,
feed.
Technical team, Luc, Yogo, doing a great job.
So now we're left with Alana Yip and about 2 minutes. Looked okay across the first two moves, but didn't quite have the pieces all put together to get up to the bonus.
Yeah, grimacing as she was getting that crimp. Skin and especially on these volumes and crimps, skin may be an issue on this fourth boulder problem. We know that they've had a big weekend of climbing, and also I think it's all about whether or not the gas is in the tank still.
Yes, absolutely. I said that early season conditioning is different from mid-season conditioning. And make no mistake, 20 minutes rest or not, climbing 4 boulders of this amount of effort is a real feat. And you can just tell, you know how strong Alana Yip is.
Yeah.
You know what she did on the earlier boulders. You know what she did yesterday. And here you're seeing her unable to stick what some people would tell you is a pretty pedestrian move at the start of a boulder problem. So, obviously tired, but not walking away because that's not in her nature. She's just going to let this clock wind down a little bit, try and get a tiny bit back, and then give it all to close out her round.
And so Alex Megos is now in the lead, provisionally. That being said, because Mikael Mauen has not come out, but
and now we're seeing Alana with that digging deep is the only way to describe that. Just powered through those opening moves this time. You looking at the clock and deciding to definitely try one more time.
Yeah, and that's what we expect from her, and she's riling up the crowd. And
yeah, and that's going to be all she's got. So thank you to Alana for a wonderful round, for really establishing herself as belonging in a field of this strength.
Really, absolutely, and that's what she's proven this last year on the World Cup circuit, but also here tonight.
No doubt about that at all. Signing her scorecard and hopefully getting a beer.
Meanwhile, Dr. Stepp has got his crash pad. I think he's going to launch that as a goodie in the crowd.
I'm gonna keep my hand on my beer here in case it makes it all the way back.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He looks like he's got an arm on him.
He's powerful.
Crowd loves stuff. I'll tell you that from having emceed a few comps in my day too. Is the crowd loves stuff. Sometimes they love stuff more than they love people.
Stuff.
Yeah, good climbing stuff.
I mean, a crash pad. That's never boring.
No, that's worthwhile.
So,
actually, we've given Alex doesn't have to. If she she needs to flash it. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm just looking. If she'll have 2 tops in 3, but it'll come down to the bonuses. And Melissa with all 4 bonuses.
And so we've got our last climbers out for this 2017 Bloc Shop Open. Michael Mawem, he's got his shirt off. He's ready.
Started with his shirt off.
Yeah, and Alex Puccio. And so Dr. Stepp is doing it as well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty large gentleman himself. So now we got 2 big men up on stage.
Yeah.
And
that's why we're sitting here on the booth.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay over here. Keep my shirt on for a little while. That's fantastic stuff. All right, Alex Puccio. All eyes at home should be focused on this as a flash. This is her shot.
For both climbers, it's important. Oh. And there you go. I think just like that, as simple as it happened.
Melissa's got the win.
Yeah.
So does Michael have this flash in him? Oh, look at that. Taking the bottom of the pinch in maybe its worst place.
And he's still toe hooking, getting compression in. Wow.
Oh, wow. And Alex Puccio sticking the shoulder remove. My God, he's with his toe hook still underneath.
How did he do that?
He's a tall man.
He's a powerful man.
He's a powerful man in order to keep the compression, to keep that toe hook under there.
Well, that's what we've come to expect from Mikael, and he's come here to show why he's such a strong and appreciated climber on the circuit.
Yeah, and he gets a big hug from Alex Megos as well, who can respect the effort that he put in to do that. That is a great flash of that boulder. So now we're down to Alex Puccio. Obviously wants to top this boulder. Has got an amazing. Alex Puccio has also taken her shirt off. So why not, right? Why not? If I had biceps like that, I'd spend more time in a tank top. No doubt. Let's see what she can do. You know, she's already got 2nd place, but she definitely, as a true competitor, wants to top this boulder.
Yeah, and I totally see her doing it. I think she can. This is her style. Power.
She's thinking about going up onto the volume before the bonus, because this is a difficult move. But
she's looking comfortable, weighing in her options.
Yeah, the foot options. And she's made that move so much cleaner than Melissa had.
Oh.
And we are going to see what the last move of this boulder looks like.
Wow. Pressing out. Trying to get a toe hook.
Oh.
She's got a minute to go. A minute to go after such a proud effort.
She's checking out whether or not that ankle took a hit from the top of the wall fall. I hope she's okay. We know that she's got that sprain. She tried to land on her butt. So she's
But that was a high
It's a long way up. So if
Yeah.
she's okay, she's going to give us one more try. If not, she might decide to, oh, she's up. Yeah, we're going to get one more shot. No doubt.
All right.
No doubt. One more shot from Alex Puccio. So close you could taste the last hold.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to whether she's got the gas to hang on to that shouldery move. If she does.
And you know what? It's not about just hanging out on that shouldery move. It's about pressing out of that and generating enough to get to that huge jug. So the crowd is really just getting behind
cheering.
her. And time is out, so this is the last attempt at the 2017 block shot.
All zeros on
Open.
the clock, all eyes on Alex Puccio. Some people holding their breath, I'm sure. Oh, and just not quite able to grab those crimps. Wow. I don't have much else to tell you other than wow. That's a really good show. Really great climbing. We are not going to go anywhere. So the results in today's technology day and age will get finalized very quickly. So if you're curious about seeing the results, and we were unofficial, we sort of told you who's first, second, third. If you want to watch the presentation, we are going to try and gather a couple of athletes to come and chat about the finals. So if you want to stick around on the live stream. We'll just we'll put the closeout of the comp. It's worth coming back and watching the presentation of the athletes. Don't go far. Maybe I'm going to say 10 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back at it.
Alors, je suis ici avec Michael Mawem. Michael,
Je me crois au football là.
tu peux rapprocher ça ici?
Yes,
Un peu.
c'est bon.
Alors, Michael, quelle compétition? Qu'est-ce que tu en as pensé, les blocs?
C'était terrible, terrible. Bon, c'est dommage, il y en a un qui marche pas là, le deuxième là où personne bouge. Bon, après, on reste un peu tous à égalité là-dessus.
Ouais.
Mais sinon, l'ambiance, les prises, l'ouverture, l'organisation, tout va avec et ça c'est top.
Puis, je veux parler de l'ouverture parce que il y a l'équipe ici, d'ouvreurs de Bloc Shop, Fred Charon, Nicolas Vouillamos, Matt Johnson, Mathieu Elie. Donc, des gens qui ouvrent pour les grimpeurs ici à Montréal. Il y a aussi Manu Hassler et Mathieu Ackermann qui sont venus ici de la Suisse. Alors, comment est-ce que tu compares l'ouverture, le style d'ouverture avec ce que tu vois en Europe, là, sur la scène de la Coupe du Monde?
Franchement, on va dire l'American style, hein, je vais l'appeler comme ça.
Ouais.
Je l'ai pas retrouvé ici.
OK.
Je l'ai pas retrouvé ici et ça c'est top. On sent que tous les ouvreurs ils ont l'habitude de tirer sur les bras quand même. Hein, parce qu'on sent que chaque bloc, il y a des grosses prises, il faut tirer un peu dans les biceps. Mais ils ont joué vraiment avec la force, le physique et la technicité, des petits détails. On le voit hein, sur le bloc par exemple 3 où j'ai pas bougé.
Ouais.
Sur le départ, c'est des adhérences. Il faut aller chercher plein de méthodes. Et du coup là franchement pour une fois c'est super varié, il y a tout, il fallait serrer des prises, on voit sur le premier bloc où il fallait les serrer tout en étant physique, il y avait du technique, il y avait encore du physique sur la fin avec du technique, des contres au point, tout ça. C'était du complet. Du complet. Là je peux le comparer à une Coupe du Monde, franchement au niveau des ouvertures c'est exactement la même. Et encore que cette année, j'ai vu sur mes Coupes du Monde cette année, qu'il y avait qu'ils étaient encore beaucoup plus basiques que ça. Et là franchement c'était top.
Parfait. Et puis, par-moi, là, tu es à Montréal. Est-ce qu'il y a des choses que tu aimerais faire, de la roche que tu voudrais toucher ici au Québec? C'est quoi le plan?
C'est quoi le plan? Moi, je suis pas très rocher. Hein, j'aime ça en vacances
T'es un
et
gars
tout
de
ça.
plastique.
Mais moi, je suis un gars de l'entraînement.
Ah ouais,
Voilà,
OK.
moi, j'adore m'entraîner. Et c'est ça, j'adore bourriner dans l'entraînement, sur le panguliche, tout ça, j'adore ça. Bon, en tout cas, là, pour l'instant, je sais pas ce que j'ai prévu. Pour lundi soir, je repars. Parce que c'est court, parce que je vais en vacances en Nouvelle-Calédonie.
OK.
Du coup, pour l'instant, ce soir, on va profiter avec tout le monde. Parce que tout le monde à Montréal est trop cool. Et ça, j'adore. Et on va profiter de ça. Demain, je ferai un petit tour avant de partir ici. Si je peux venir ouvrir un ou deux blocs, je serai là. Et voilà. Mais
Fantastique.
bon, en tout cas, la seule chose que j'apprécie ici, les gens, les personnes, ils sont au top.
Mais les gens, ils t'apprécient, toi, Michael.
Non, mais c'est cool.
Tout
Non,
un
mais c'est
grimpeur. Puis on aimerait ça te revoir l'année prochaine si on ouvre un autre Block Shop Open
Je serai
en
là.
2018.
Franchement, je serai là et je serai là peut-être même avant. C'est possible.
Excellent. Fantastique. Ben, merci d'être venu.
C'est
Bravo
cool.
encore. Puis
Merci.
bonne chance dans la suite.
Yes, ça va gérer. Pour l'instant, on va profiter, on va faire la party.
Oui, t'as mérité ça. Salut, là.
C'est cool.
Merci.
Allez, à plus.
All right, I'm here with Alana Yip.
Yes.
Alana, bring that a little closer to your face, just
Sorry.
a little bit. Yeah, that's all right. What a round.
Very difficult round.
Very
yeah.
difficult round. How do you feel?
Pretty tired. Pretty
tired?
sore.
But how do you feel about your performance? I know it's super fresh, but how do you feel?
Not the greatest. I think I could have climbed better. But the boulders are so much fun.
Right.
I wish I just had the chance to experience more of them. More
Yes,
of the moves.
More of the moves. So we were discussing. We talked about a lot of things across the course of the evening. On the last boulder, fatigue.
Yeah, my shoulders. So I knew I couldn't hold that shoulder move because my shoulders are incredibly sore from yesterday, and I think I would be risking injury if I tried like my absolute hardest to hold that.
Right.
So I kind of just gave up on that. If you notice, I reached over, touched bonus, intentionally adjusted my body so
Yep.
I got the bonus.
Yep.
But then I couldn't give up trying.
No, you have
but
to keep trying, right? And that's the true competitive spirit, and that's why we love watching you climb, is because you worked so hard on all these boulders, and we're saying that you absolutely established that you belong in a field of this caliber. So it was
Thank you.
really, really great to see you pull down on these moves. What was your favorite boulder from the finals?
Number
Number three.
Yeah, it involved the most like cool technique, and I love jumping, but number one was kind of like just 2 jumps.
Too jumpy? Yeah.
Number 2, I just couldn't figure out, and I bashed my leg on it, so I'm bleeding still.
So you're still bleeding from that.
But I really enjoyed the climbing on number 3, the sort of spinning and upside down, and it was really scary.
The crowd loves that. The crowd loves to see feet first. They love to see a little bit of campusing. You absolutely did not get a chance to see, but if you watch the live stream, Alex Puccio, double toe hooks, left hand, cutter feet, one arm, 180, chalked up, and then matched. And we said,
oh my God.
It was ridiculous. And you kind of think everyone has their style, and you're like, this is my style, that's my style. She made that individual move. It was ridiculous. And it was probably the most entertaining for us to watch was
absolutely
solving your way the feet first out the roof. So I'm really glad that you came and competed in this comp. I'm really glad that you threw it down. I think you ended up in 4th.
I actually don't know.
Maybe I forget from not very long ago when we were talking about it, but
3rd.
3rd. Well, you made the podium.
Nice.
There you go. That's awesome, obviously.
Thanks.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
And what are we going to see from you this year in terms of competing? Some people are asking on the live stream if they're going to see you down at some of the ABS comps.
Probably not. I'm going to focus on training this fall, but I'll be at the Northwest Boulder Fest next weekend at the Seattle Boulder Project.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
One of my favorite comps of the year.
And then the Canadian circuit?
Haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I'll definitely be doing some of the Asia World Cups this year. That's my plan. Yeah.
And then I'm going to ask you a longer term question. Are you starting to think about the Olympics, and are you starting to think about the all around ability that you need to put through? So you're starting to think about training roots and boulders at the same time?
Yes,
absolutely.
Definitely.
And what are you going to do about speed?
Well, so I'm really lucky. The gym that I coach at, the youth team, so I coach the youth team at the Edge Climbing Center in North Van, and they just bought a set of speed holds. So the gym's only 9 meters tall, so we obviously can't even get a full 10 meter in there, but we can get it up in parts. We ordered enough holds that we can get some overlap in there, in between the bottom part and the top part, and I'll be training the sequence and stuff there, and then I'll probably go to Victoria a bunch to put it all together.
Because it has to be something you need to think about now. You can't just say, oh, I'll just deal with speed when I get there. You need to be good enough at it to jump your way up the rankings.
Yeah, definitely.
To make it a part of the
so
puzzle.
Yeah, it's a plan, and I'm definitely I have a plan, and I'm thinking about it. Definitely looking towards the overall. In fact, I just won a grant.
Yes, I saw that. Wonderful.
The Petro-Canada Face Grant, which is sort of for non-carded athletes in Canada. It's a money for both the athlete and their coach in order to train towards the Olympic Games.
So it takes some of that pressure off having to work. We have been discussing a lot this weekend the difference between being able to train full-time as a full-time athlete. So not what we think of in Canada as full-time, which is I go to school or I have a job and I train 4 nights a week. It's I get up, I have breakfast, I train, I eat, I sleep, I train, and I repeat it 5 or 6 days a week. So giving that opportunity to people to see what the difference becomes in your ability and your fitness between training as much as you can versus nothing else to worry about. So it's awesome that they do that. It's awesome that it came to climbing. It's amazing that you were a recipient of it. You're obviously a good route climber in your own right. You just did Division Bell this summer, right?
And Pulse.
And Pulse. So I think that I'm excited to see good things from you.
You
in
think
the
you're
combined.
excited? You're not actually sure yet?
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to be like, you know what? I'm super excited to watch you win every comp this year. I'm excited to watch you do really well because I know you will, and I think you're going to do very, very well.
Thank you.
I'm
I'll
excited
try.
about that. So, thanks for stopping by. Wonderful work today. If this becomes an annual event, you got to come back, right?
Absolutely. I love this gym.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
I think everybody that comes here says, "I look around like I love this gym. It's all right. It's all right." So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
And we will see a lot of you this year on the comp circuit.
Probably.
Probably.
We'll
All
see.
right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Bye.
We're just sort of wandering. We're trying to catch people.
Avec une bouteille de cinéma, ça a l'air vraiment délicieux. Est-ce que le temps pour une bouteille aussi? And now, en première place, le seul et le moins, Miguel Flexible Noël. The hard-working Aggie Saint-Jacques. Égalité à la second place. Tie at fifth place. Bouldering, La Rochelle. En quatrième place, Alisa Swagger-Weber. Now, en troisième place, third place, gagnante de $1000, Alana Non-Stop Youth. La mer. Merci à tous les athlètes de rester présents. Si vous voulez des photos, des autographes, ils vont rester sur place. Alors, on peut transférer à la compétition le leader battle, break battle, dance battle, top 8 qui commence à l'instant. On se voit plus tard. Merci, cher public. That was that. I'll be very much good.
All right, guys. That is going to wrap it up for the 2017 inaugural Bloc Shop Open. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde qui est venu aux compétitions. Merci à vous, Phil. C'était bon du fun.
On a eu du plaisir, Pete. It was a really great event, and thanks for everybody that joined us live and exchanged with us. A lot of good insight, and you know, the climbers spoke for themselves. It was an amazing comp.
Absolutely. Wonderful route setting. It shows you what happens when you can bring an international group of people together, an international crew, the route setting crew, the climbers that came, this style, this like real depth in ability, style of setting. I mean, there's got to be, I said earlier 200. I think there's got to be 300 people in here.
Yeah, it's packed.
We had 700 people watching online. This is what we need to have in Canada. I'm excited that this might be a new jumping off point for us. I'll be back next year.
Well, I hope we'll both be back.
Absolutely.
We'll
I hope
see
to
about
see you
that.
back. Remember to go out and thank a sponsor, hug a route setter, hug a judge, come into Bloc Shop and tap these guys on the back and buy them a beer. Merci à tout le monde. Merci à Bloc Shop. Merci à North Face, Fondation Bouldering Montreal. And I mean, it was a show. I got, you know,
Amazing.
nothing but praise for the weekend we had.
It was great, and I'm gonna go check it out again on YouTube.
I might
afterwards.
watch it again online. I mean, I missed a few things in the way I was like, oh my God, I missed something. So yeah, I'm gonna go watch it again. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you around. Peace.